Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Wyatt Earp's relations with the Wells Fargo Bank and Express Company began when he was a young sprout in California riding shotgun for Wells Fargo on a dangerous line from the gold fields. Not a single stage under Wyatt's guard was ever held up. Long after Wyatt had left the company's employ, he was remembered by Wells Fargo and often asked to help its special agents on a tough case. As Marshal of Dodge City, Wyatt was appealed to by Wells Fargo with word that a gang of outlaws, led by Curly Bill Brocious, was holding up its stages at a desolate station called the Little Alamo.
Hey! Put your hands up, throw that gun down. Whoa! Keep them up. Get the money bag. Get the passengers' money. Dutch, come to the door to that depot. Give me that money bag. Don't you try to shoot him.
No, I can't take a chance on getting the passengers hurt. My orders say for me to see Wyatt Earp in Dodge City.
Wyatt Earp, huh?
Wells Fargo wants to turn this case over to him.
Yeah, let me see that. What's that? Come on!
Now, here's Little Alamo, 40 miles south of Dodge, out on the edge of the bushwhacker country. This Curly Bill Brocious and his gang have pulled 3 holdups in the last month. They got a camp in bushwhacker. I'm afraid it'd take a small army to run them out.
Well, it's my job to help go after them.
No, the company asked me to go as a personal favor. I owe Wells Fargo for giving me a job when everybody else said I was too much of a kid. Now, you ought to be able to understand that, Mr. Masterson.
Yeah, I sure do. But I still think...
You and Mr. Dunbar will have a crack at him. I'll just be a chunk of live bait trying to lure Curly and his boys out in the open. I want you to put a piece in the newspaper saying that I've gone to the Little Alamo to investigate the holdups.
And tip Curly Bill off?
We'll bushwhack you, Wyatt.
Oh, I think Curly's too much of a show-off for that. He'll probably stage another holdup right under my nose.
Well, you know better than I do.
Where do we come in? I don't like the idea of you going along.
You stand by here with the deputies, and I'll either send you a message or the next stage will be late in arriving in Dodge. But if it is late, don't waste any time. That'll mean I'm in trouble and need help fast. I'm going to try to lure Curly out in the open, Mr. Dunbar, so you can nab the whole gang. But be sure not get over anxious and spoil the game. Good fisherman always lets the bait wiggle for a little while. Now, let's see what you're going to put in the newspaper.
Hey, Dutch, what's the hurry? What are you carrying the food?
Don't ask me why. They have for years. It's just one of those things. There's other places to hide it.
Hey, boss, look at this.
What is it? What's the matter?
That big-headed Earp, who does he think he is? Maybe we could hit him up before he gets to Little Alamo.
No, we'll get the noon stage and laugh at him.
No, I don't know.
Don't be stupid. Earp's running a bluff of some kind. He wouldn't come down here all by himself. So we're calling his bluff, cold turkey.
That's right.
Morning. Howdy.
Oh. Howdy. Stage ain't due for 10 or 15 minutes yet. Hey, you Johnny Law?
Hmm? Marshal of a Dodge City, Deputy United States Marshal, name's Earp.
Hey, now. What are you doing down here? You working for the company? You come here alone?
That's right. You must be Mr. Todd.
Yeah, and you must be a fool. Curly Bill and his boys are working this here stretch of road. You need a posse, or the 7th Cavalry. Well, that settles it. I've been threatening to quit this job for 27 years. Now I'm quitting.
Suit yourself.
Oh, I've heard about you. Considerable of a man. Yeah, fast with them guns. But I ain't staying here to see you get killed. My back ain't strong. And I won't dig your grave. Wells Fargo. Ha! Too cheap to send a posse.
Mr. Dunbar says that Curly Brocious works close to the station.
Close. They rode right up to the front door and took the cash bag off of number 7.
Well, seeing as you're quitting, I guess you better ride out and meet the stage. Tell them to go right on through.
Huh?
You don't expect the company to provide you with transportation, do you?
After almost 30 years?
Man doesn't quit a station until his relief comes. You can walk.
It ain't healthy around here, Marshal. I could get killed along with you.
Sure, you take that chance, so just walk away from it.
Well, they told me you were a mighty cold-hearted man.
Now, come on, I got a ride to meet the stage.
No, you ain't. Here she comes. Brother, hold up. Shut that driver's weapon. All right,
Come on, get outside.
Oh, I'm so frightened.
Let's just step down. We'll be all right.
Oh, Mother is...
She'll be all right. Take her
Where's
inside.
now?
How far back did they jump you?
2 or 3 miles, I don't know.
Well, I know. It was right within sight of this station. They killed the guard, they stopped the driver, they robbed us, sir.
All right, get inside. They may come back.
Wells Fargo, I'll sue them for this.
Save
All
that
right,
for
just
later.
get inside.
Miller, Reagan, friends of mine, both dead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Todd. You go get my rifle and saddlebag off my horse? Thank you.
Here, Marshal.
Well, I didn't get the money back this time. They'll probably come back for it.
No, I can drive. You ride shotgun and we'll get out of here.
Well, with all those people, maybe that's best.
But we gotta hurry, Marshal. You go get them passengers and I'll change the team.
No, we can't wait for that. Those horses can last to the Cross River Station. Yeah, you put this back under the floorboards and then keep a lookout. I'm sorry, folks, but we should be hitting the road. Now, Mr. Todd will drive and I'll ride shotgun.
Oh, indeed. And who are you?
My name's Earp. I'm a marshal of Dodge City.
I see the star. Why didn't you stop this? And why aren't you out chasing those robbers?
You know, you people being here make it a little awkward. I think the best move is to get you to Dodge City.
Not me. I stay right here until Wells Fargo sends a posse to guard us.
My mother isn't fit to travel, Mr. Earp. We'll wait for a posse to guard us, just as Mr. Jones said.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We can't do that.
What?
No, they didn't get the money bag. It was hidden beneath the floorboards.
It was.
That's right, and I think they'll come back for it.
All right, give it to them.
I can't do that either. No, if we stay, I'll have to bring the money in here. If they come after it, I'm going to have to try and fight them off.
That's nonsense.
Preposterous. Young man, I've already risked my life once. Let them take the money. It's insured.
How do you vote, mister?
I'm staying here, friend.
All right. I can't force you to run for it.
Marshal, there's dust spotting up and we shouldn't waste a second.
These people insist on staying here. I'll go get the money.
You silly fools. He offered to run you out of danger. You can't stay here.
Why not?
Curly Brocious is coming, and Earp will turn this place into a fort.
Oh, no. That's stupid. All he has to do is give them the money.
You don't know him. Earp's a fighting man, and he'll stay here and protect that money until the last one of us is killed.
Nobody else dressed that way or walk that way. It's too good to be true. It must be a trap of some kind. Tell the boys to surround the depot and start a sniping fire.
You people get in the other room. I demand that you give those men that money.
Hey, Marshal.
Yeah?
Give me a gun and I'll cover the other side.
Well, they're too far away for pistol range. Old man Todd's got a buffalo gun in the back room. Maybe he'll lend it to you.
Fine. Where's your gun, Pop?
What do you want it for?
The Marshal needs help.
I don't lend my gun to nobody.
All right. Well, hold that fire.
What's that about? Is that a flag of truce?
That's right.
What do they want?
He wants the money and you.
Me?
Yeah, Curly likes women. All right, Ringo. Start talking. I'm listening.
Curly said throw the bag of money out here. He wants the girl out here, too. Then he'll let you all go.
Well, you ride back and tell Curly he's a liar. Tell him anything he wants in here, he's going to have to try and take it.
Have it your way, Earp, if you can.
Why don't you give him the money?
When a man comes after with a gun, I don't give.
They agreed to let us go. You're risking all our lives.
Where you from?
Los Angeles. It's in California.
Yeah, I know. My folks are from San Bernardino.
How very interesting. Is it that you just like to fight? Nothing you said so far makes any sense to me. Mama can't stand much more of this. She's got a weak heart.
Want some water? What'd your mother think if Curly Bill came and got you?
Even an outlaw wouldn't do that. You're trying to fight me with cheap melodrama.
Well, of course, you're from Los Angeles. You know outlaws a lot better than I do. You better go take care of your mother.
The old man wouldn't give it to me, so I took it. You better make sure it doesn't blow my arm off.
Yeah. Well, it's in good condition. You ever fire one of these sharps before?
No, just a Winchester.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll take this. You can use mine. About 4 shells left in it. Some extra ones over in the saddlebag. By the way, what's your name?
Eckhart, I gamble for a living. If you call this living.
Well, at least it's a gamble.
How do you figure?
Well, if we can hold out for a couple more hours, there'll be a posse coming from Dodge. They were supposed to start as soon as they see the stages late.
Well, why didn't you explain this before?
We'll be needing water. I'll try and get to the well. Give me that rope. Go out the side door. You cover me.
Ready?
Let's go.
I'll take the blame, but not from you. Mr. Eckhart was a brave man. I said, get a blanket! All you have to do is stick that gun in his back. Then I'll grab the money bag and throw it out the door.
I don't know.
Well, give me the gun.
No. You handle it.
That's the Wells Fargo bag. It's all right for a man to quit him like I done, but it ain't right to give outlaws Wells Fargo money.
Mr. Todd, come and arrest the depot.
Oh, hang it all.
Bring that gun out here. I can use it.
The outlaws.
Let me do that, Mr. Todd. Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Watch yourself. You know there's just about enough of those cartridges left for one more time?
Well, there may not be a next time.
I'll go visit with your mother.
Is this from a bullet?
Yeah? You want a good boot, too.
Why do you keep on with this?
Because there's nothing else to do.
You know, one more attack and that'll be it.
No, there's a posse on its way.
Oh, sure.
Maybe Curly Bill's had enough.
I don't understand any of this. 2 men killed on a stage. Poor Mr. Eckert and Mr. Jones. Just to save a rich company a few $1,000s.
Look, I try to explain it to you the best way I know how.
Well, if it isn't the money, why don't you throw out the bag as Mr. Jones tried to do?
Throw you out, too?
Yes. That'll prove the whole thing was unnecessary. In fact, I'll take the bag myself and...
No. You stay here and the money stays here.
You're a stubborn fool. We'll all be killed.
There are worse things than being killed. You don't crawl before an outlaw like Curly Bill. You do that, and the next thing you know, he's taken over the whole country.
Let him. What's a few square miles of brush and boulders?
A lot more than you'll ever understand.
How we doing? We lost 3 boys. 3 more shot up pretty bad. You want to try it again, Curly? I want her dead. And I want that girl alive.
They're coming again.
Yeah, well, this time let him get real close.
I don't suppose you care, but my mother is very ill. She's in a faint.
Well, throw some water on her face. All right, let him have it.
We keep up this gallop and we're going to kill some horses.
I don't see anything in the stage, Bat. I'm sure Earp's in trouble.
All right. Well, right over the drop. Come on.
Oh, blast it all, Marshal. I'm out of shells.
Here, use this one.
Thanks. Long hours and low pay. 9 on the 30 years of it. And now I'm supposed to...
Got you in the shoulder. Here. Put your hand on that, you'll be all right. That's it. Press it hard. That's it. Press hard. Now you got it.
Hold it. Get off your horses. We'll move in on foot.
You needn't be afraid. Mr. Earp and Mr. Todd aren't able to shoot anymore. Here's the money. My mother's ill. I've got to get back to her.
Hold it. Grab her. Curly, let's get out of here. There's a posse coming. Don't get nervous. I want her, too. Take care of this.
Is that dead?
Yes, you blasted murderer.
I'll take a look.
You stupid old man. Curly, Grandpa shot me. No wheels got turned. That pussy's not 3 minutes away. Bring the girl along. Use your head. We gotta ride fast. Turn her loose. We got the money. That's the main thing. Let's go!
You are the meanest and the stupidest gal I ever met up with.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Where's Curly?
He just rode off.
Didn't he want you?
The posse's coming.
What's that arm? Here you go, Mr. Todd.
Thanks.
Come on, man.
Thank you, Mr. Earp.
Watch yourself.
You know, you're a brave man, Mr. Earp. But I still say it wasn't worth dying for.
Well, I guess I'm old-fashioned. Come on.
See you in Dodge, Ward.
Right, sir. All right, Charlie.
You know, Mr. Dunbar doesn't blame you.
No? Well, he should. Let Curly Brocious get away with the money and back into bushwhacker. Well, they sure named this station right when they call it the Little Alamo.
You know what? There ain't many of the Alamo kind of people left. I think we better start raising a crop like them again.
The Alamo was a prayer. And all you can say after a prayer is amen. Come on, let's ride.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. he made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Here, Matthew, let me help you.
Oh, thanks, Marshal.
How you feeling this morning?
Oh, can't complain. Maybe you could, but nobody'd listen.
I wish everybody had that attitude. If they did, I wouldn't have to work at all. Good morning to you, Matthew.
Morning.
It's the afternoon mail, White.
I haven't finished with this morning's yet.
Yeah, here's one from Fort Leavenworth Prison. Know anybody there?
Yeah, about half the fellas up there. Let's see it. It's from the warden. Says somebody by the name of Colby was discharged from there a couple of days ago. Thought I'd like to know about it. Colby, is that name familiar to you?
Fred Colby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. Went to school with him and his brother.
Wonder why the warden would think I'd be interested in knowing about his discharge.
Fred was sent to prison about 4 years ago. He confessed to robbing a stagecoach. I don't think he did it. I think he was shielding his kid brother, Larry.
Larry. Larry Colby. Now, that name's a little more familiar.
Yeah, he was killed about 4 months before you arrived here. We never found out who did it. Fred will find out.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand now.
Yeah, that's why the warden thought you might be interested. Fred will be coming back here. He'll come back to find out who killed his brother.
Well, tell me all you remember about the killing of his brother Larry.
Well, not too much, Wyatt. Larry was always the sort of a kid who was in trouble. He was real handy with a gun. He finally got a half interest in the Alamo Saloon. Even going to marry Jake Antrim's daughter, but...
Joan Antrim?
Yeah. Nobody ever saw him do a day's work. Always had plenty of money. He was a strange sort of a fella.
Place your bets, please. The name of the game, gentlemen. Something you want, Marshal?
I'd like to speak to your father.
I think you'll find him in his office.
Thank you, Miss Antrim.
Place your bets, please.
Come in. Oh, Marshal Earp. Well, I presume I won't be needing this.
A very cautious man.
Suspicious would be a better word. What is it you want, Marshal? I'm quite busy.
I know. Understand you've been doing a good business.
Please state your complaint or whatever it is, sir.
Well, I have no complaint, Mr. Antrim. There's no need for you to be unfriendly.
It's been my experience that even as the fox is the natural enemy of the rabbit, the law is the natural enemy of the saloon keeper.
Well, I don't hold with that, sir, but I've never heard it said any better.
Mr. Earp, please state your errand.
Very well, sir. Does the name Colby mean anything to you?
You know very well that it does, so why ask?
Larry Colby was killed before I came to Dodge. I'm just trying to find out all I can about him.
Why?
Because his brother, Fred Colby, was released from prison, Fort Leavenworth.
I see. I'd almost forgotten about the brother. I guess I always knew he would be back one day.
Well, why didn't you leave then? You could have done just as well someplace else.
Dodge is my home, sir. I was here long before the railroad was. And I have no reason to fear Fred Colby or anyone else.
But you do, don't you?
Yes.
Do you know who killed his brother, Larry?
No.
From what I've heard, nobody regrets his death much.
Least of all me. He forced me into a partnership with him practically at gunpoint.
Well, I've also heard that he might have been your son-in-law if he had lived.
At least I was spared that.
Well, from Fred Colby's viewpoint, it would seem you had a good deal to gain by his brother's death.
I realize that.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Question is, what are you going to do?
Prevent another murder if possible. I want to find the man who killed his brother before Fred Colby does.
You shouldn't allow him to set foot in this town.
Well, you're wrong there, Mr. Antrim. He's entitled to be here as long as he behaves himself.
If I knew who killed Larry Colby, I wouldn't tell you. Now, why don't you just leave, Mr. Earp, and let me handle my own affairs?
Well, just don't do it by shooting, or you'll be seeing me again.
Good evening, Marshal.
Good evening, Mr. Antrim. And thank you for your cooperation. Good evening. Your name Fred Colby?
That's right.
I understand you've come here to kill somebody. If what I've heard is true, Mr. Colby, I suggest you turn around.
You through talking, Marshal?
No. Wearing guns in the street isn't allowed here.
I know that. I'm planning to check it the first place I come to.
Look, Mr. Colby, if a man needs to be punished for something that he's done, that's the law's job, not yours. First place, you have to prove it, and
Well, whoever it was got away. Well, thanks for trying to get him anyway.
it's all right. I'll go get your horse. In the meantime, why don't you walk over to the jail office and wait for me? I'd like to finish our talk.
You arresting me?
No, Mr. Colby, I just want to talk to you. You might check your gun with my deputy, too.
All right.
See you there. Well, do you have any idea who it was?
Seems clear to me. The man who killed my brother is trying to kill me.
It's mighty short range to miss with a rifle, if it was a miss. Seems to me like whoever it was just trying to scare you.
I doubt it. Good evening, Marshal.
Mr. Colby, before you go, I'd like to tell you once more. Don't try and take the law in your own hands.
I checked his gun.
The one he was wearing, you mean? There are a lot of ways to kill. If a man really wants to.
You think we ought to lock him up or make him leave town?
What charge? Being named Colby? No, you just keep an eye on him. If he leaves the hotel before morning, come tell me.
Yes, sir.
Hal, don't plan on preventing a crime by shooting Colby. A deputy can be just as guilty of murder as anybody else.
You know I wouldn't do a thing like that.
I know, Hal. You want to keep the peace just as much as I do. Just don't let it bother you. We'll do the best we can.
Sure. Night, Wyatt.
Good night.
Marshal Earp?
Well, good morning, Miss Antrim.
Good morning. I'd like to talk to you, if I may.
Of course.
Sit down. Want some coffee?
No, thank you. Marshal, I understand Fred Colby's in town.
Well, news travels fast.
We citizens of Dodge like to help each other, whether the law does or not.
Just what do you mean by that, ma'am?
You're fine at throwing drunken cowhands in jail. But when it comes to the protection we pay you for, you do nothing.
Has Mr. Colby been bothering you or your father, Miss Antrim?
He will be. Everyone in town knows that, except you. His name's Colby, isn't it?
Well, I understand that your name was almost Colby.
Marshal, if you don't do something about that killer, somebody else will.
Meaning you, ma'am?
Very possibly.
Miss Antrim, you know, you're much too pretty to be arrested for murder. Good day, ma'am. Drop in any time.
Colby just left the cafe down the street. He's headed for the Alamo Saloon.
All right. I'll go around back of the saloon. You stay on the street. If there's any shooting, you come on in.
I've been expecting you.
I imagine you have.
Well?
You know why I'm here, Antrim.
To kill me, I suppose.
You killed my brother.
I didn't, but he deserved killing.
He was your partner. Sent me a copy of your agreement with him.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah?
I'll buy it back from you.
All right.
Does $3,000 sound like a fair price to you?
That's, more money than I ever had.
You're entitled to your brother's holdings. I certainly don't wish for another Colby as a partner. And since you can't buy me out, I'll buy you out.
You mean buy me off, don't you?
Do you want the money or don't you?
I'll decide later. In the meantime, I'll do what I came here to do. Find out who killed my brother. You're the man I'm looking for. All the money in the world won't save you. Miss Antrim, you're under arrest for attempted murder.
Father!
Please, Marshal. She might have wanted to, but she never could have pulled the trigger.
That'll be decided by the judge, Mr. Antrim. Did you really mean to kill me, Joan?
Yes,
Why?
because you're a Colby. The same dirty, rotten breed as your brother.
I don't understand this at all. When I left here, you and Larry were in love. You were going to get married.
He never loved anyone but himself and money. He was a cruel, vicious killer, and you're no better.
Miss Antrim, did your father kill Larry Colby? Did you?
No, but I wish I had. I wanted to, more than once.
I'm sorry to hear that. It changes nothing as far as I'm concerned. I'll find my man no matter how long it takes. Turns out to be your father. I'm sorry for you. Did you really mean to kill him?
I don't know.
Would have been quite an accomplishment if you had. It isn't loaded. I'll withdraw the charge of attempted murder.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marshal.
Well, Marshal, I'm indebted to you again.
No, you're not. Wasn't loaded. I don't really think she hates you, Mr. Colby. I just think she's worried about her father.
Maybe she has reason to be. Thanks, Marshal.
Still working on that 1872 file?
Yeah, still at it. I finished 1871. Been trying to find out all I could about Larry Colby in town. Nobody remembers much about him, except they didn't like him. Figured he was mixed up with the law.
Well, that's before I got a badge.
Now, listen to this. He was drunk and disorderly a half a dozen times in 71, arrested on suspicion of horse stealing in April 72, released for lack of evidence. Wounded 2 men in a gunfight in June 72, self-defense. Killed a man in September 72, self-defense. Found dead the same month by person or persons unknown. Who was the man he killed in 72?
A 19-year-old boy. Colby goaded him into drawing, then killed him.
Hmm. Did you see it?
No, only 2 people saw it. The sheriff at the time and the boy's father.
Is the father still living?
Sure, you know him. Matthew, old Matthew at the livery stable. Shock almost killed the old man.
Old Matthew, huh? I think I'll go down and have a talk with him.
Oh, no, Wyatt, the old man's having trouble enough staying alive. No sense disturbing him too much.
I'll try not to.
Fred Colby, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm Pete Burley.
Oh, sure. You're a friend of my brother's.
His best friend.
Did you find out who killed him?
I sure tried. But outside of a pretty good hunch, I had nothing to go on. It couldn't have been anybody but Jake Antrim, the way it looked to me.
How come you didn't do something about it?
Well, Antrim had a lot of friends. I got shot at a couple of times, so did the rest of the boys. The gang just sort of broke up without Larry to hold it together. I've been drifting around here ever since.
What gang are you talking about, Burley?
Didn't Larry ever write to you about us? There were 6 of us all together. We had this town by the tail, let me tell you. Larry was the brains and the fastest gun. He was pretty good with the women, too. You heard about old Antrim's daughter, didn't you?
Yeah. I heard she and Larry were going to get married.
Ah, Larry wasn't the marrying type, if you know what I mean. He just did that to try and get Antrim to make him a partner.
Worked, though, didn't it?
Not exactly. Antrim wouldn't go for it. So Larry made a few little threats.
Against the girl?
Yeah. First thing you know, Larry was a partner. That makes you a partner now. You seen old man Antrim?
Yeah.
How'd he take it?
Not good.
I didn't figure he would. Fred, I came up here figuring on taking up with you where I left off with Larry. How do you feel about it?
Depends on what you mean.
Oh, you know?
No, I don't.
Well, first we put in our own dealers at the saloon like before. And we take in twice as much. Then we get rid of old man Antrim altogether.
You're a liar.
What?
I said you're a liar. Larry might have been wild, but he wasn't crooked.
Boy, have you got a lot to learn about your kid brother.
Shut up.
You ain't got as much sense now as you had when they sent you up, have you?
Out of my way, Burley.
If Larry was alive right now, he'd spit on you. But since he ain't, I'm going to do it for him.
You're under arrest, Colby. Get over to the jail, both of you. Come
All right. Just a minute. Fine time to wake you, man. Oh, Marshal Earp, huh? Come in, come in.
Sorry to bother you so late, Mr. Watkins, but it's important.
You always called me Matthew before.
Well, I didn't know your last name until tonight.
Oh. You mind if I rest myself while you're talking?
Not at all.
I get sort of tired nights. I got some chawing tobacco around here someplace. Now let me see. How'd you know I had that gun in there?
Well, I've never seen you chew tobacco before, and you're a little old to start.
Well, you going to use that?
I hope not.
I never murdered nobody. It was self-defense. And I wasn't trying to hit that other Colby last night neither. Just scare him.
Why'd you cut down on me just now?
I guessed you'd figured it out. Come to take me in. Then I figured I'd never be taken off to hang for killing a snake like Larry Colby. But I guess it don't much matter now, one way or t'other. Anyway, I couldn't shoot you. You always been good to me.
Mr. Watkins, I want you to come with me for a little while. I want you to talk to Fred Colby. Mr. Colby's horse. It's all saddled up. Looks like he's getting ready to leave town. I was afraid that he was pretty upset last night when old man Watkins told him the truth about his brother. Morning, Mr. Colby. We'd like to talk to you for a moment.
Morning. I was going to stop by and apologize to you for everything, including my brother. Then I figured that the sooner I got out of here, the happier everybody would be.
Where are you heading?
I don't know. Someplace a good distance from here.
Well, as long as you're not decided, I suggest you stay here and Dodge.
I agree, and besides, I believe I owe you some money, Mr. Colby.
No, you don't. I found out exactly how Larry got that partnership. That money doesn't belong to me any more than it did to him.
I agree with the marshal, too. There's plenty of room in Dodge for you, and it was your home.
Yeah, it's changed some. For the better, I think.
Then you'll stay?
Thanks. I'd like to think about it.
Good. First we'll buy you some breakfast, boy, and then we'll talk over a few things.
Oh, Marshal, won't you join us?
I will a little later.
I'll be checking it inside, Marshal.
Thank you, Mr. Colby.
The country, the old Wild West country, he made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
Runaway stagecoach right behind me. Clear the street. Runaway stagecoach. Coming this way. Runaway stagecoach. Clear the street. Runaway stagecoach.
Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Runaway stagecoach. Run to cover. Stagecoach run away. Run to cover. Now, get over here. Quiet, don't! Don't!
Out!
Everybody all right? Yeah. That was completely magnificent.
Well, howdy, Wyatt. You didn't let us down.
Bill Cody.
Yeah?
Well, I be. Hey, what's the idea?
Idea? You suspect me of something, Wyatt?
Well, now, you don't expect me to believe that this was a real runaway, do you? You had these in your hand all the time.
Well, Wyatt, I was trying to stop them. Oh, I did my best, but they're mighty spirited animals.
Now, you listen to me. Even though you're a good friend of mine, and even though everybody loves Buffalo Bill, you got no right to endanger the lives of...
Well, Marshal, we meet again. Are you, Wyatt?
Mr. Buntline. Well, Mr. Ned Buntline. So you're in on this, too, huh?
Yeah, I'll explain about it later. Come on down, Prince. Come down here and meet the finest marshal in the entire West.
Thank
you. Your Highness, may I present my very good friend, Marshal Wyatt Earp of Dodge City, Kansas.
I'm honored, Marshal.
How do you do?
Marshal, you have just shaken hands with His Highness Prince Karl Otto Maximilian Francis Wilhelm of Schleswig-Holstein. That's in Germany.
Oh.
Thank you, Marshal, for saving my life. Ich bin sehr dankbar.
Well, I'm happy to know you, Prince, but as far as saving your life is concerned,
Oh, the Marshal is a very shy man. Shy and modest at all times. Marshal, the United States government will also be most grateful to you. Yes, because the Prince is traveling all through the West as a guest of the United States government, with Mr. Cody and myself as personal guides.
Well, I'm beginning to understand now, Mr. Buntline.
I knew you would, Mr. Earp.
Marshal, I have heard that your town of Dodge City is most unbewohnbar.
Wild, I think.
Wild. And that you are always busy shooting bad men.
Well, it's not quite as bad as that, Prince, especially since I have the Buntline special. Oh, that's a gun that Mr. Buntline gave me.
Oh, now you see how modest he is. Now, Wyatt, what do you say we get His Highness fixed up with a hotel room, and then you and Mr. Buntline and myself can spend a little time talking together while the Prince rests up for one of Dodge City's wild and woolly Saturday nights, huh?
Good. I'd like to talk to you, too. About several things.
Well, here we go, Your Highness.
There we go. What I should really do is charge you both with disturbing the peace, endangering the life and limb of citizens, to say nothing of what...
Now, Marshal, you know that neither Bill nor I would do anything to injure innocent people.
I had control of them horses every foot of the way, Wyatt.
Yeah, and didn't we send a rider well ahead to warn everybody off the street?
Of course, we didn't figure on you being so handy, though. That was a real bonus, Wyatt, you stopping that runaway like you did. Of course, it wasn't a real runaway, but then you didn't know that.
And that's another charge. Endangering the life of a peace officer unnecessarily. I could have busted my neck.
Oh, I'd just hated to see that, Wyatt. Oh, that would have been terrible. Of course, we would have sent you flowers, wouldn't we, Ned?
Of course.
All right, you clowns. I'm not going to throw you in jail this time, but help me. The next time you try anything else like that while you're here, I'm not only going to throw you in jail, but I'm going to throw the key away.
Well, Marshal, that's what we want to talk to you about. You see, with your help, we want to stage a fake gunfight.
Absolutely not.
No. We brought blank cartridges. Nobody can get hurt, particularly if you're there to
No. Now, look, Wyatt, we promised that prince a look at some real Western wickedness.
Look, I don't care what you promised him. It's hard enough to keep peace here without inventing that kind of excitement. No, sir. If the prince needs excitement that bad, you're just going to have to take him someplace else. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Ned is about to have an idea, I can tell.
Marshal, I have the solution, but we will need your help.
Now, look, my job here is to...
You have no objection if we stage our little drama outside the city limits, have you?
Well, it depends.
Yeah. Now, just listen to this. Tomorrow, I'll suggest to the prince that he and I take a ride on our stage to Deadwood. Now, about an hour out of town, 2 masked desperados stop us. They rob us of our money. They wave their guns right under our noses. And then at the right time, you and Bill come to the rescue. The desperados try to get away, but after a thrilling chase, you capture them. You retrieve our money, you throw the culprits into jail. Now, how does that sound?
Oh, that sounds real good. That sounds real good. There's nothing wrong with that as far as I can see. Huh?
There's just one problem. Where are you going to get the hold-up men?
Well, you got 4 or 5 deputies. You pick 2 of them, and we'll pay them well for their acting.
Now, look, Mr. Buntline, I'm grateful to you for this fine gun you gave me last year. And for knowing you, but... Well...
Oh, come
now,
on now,
Marshal,
Wyatt. You've got to be a good sport about this.
Absolutely nobody can get hurt. And
not.
all we got to do is get the time and
That's
the place.
Right, and
and you...
For you, nothing. A bullet for you. You get no help. Cody, a pair of 5s. One for me, Shana Dami. Pair of 5s is high.
Yeah, I thought poker was an American game.
Well, you see, His Highness and I have spent a good deal of time together.
I'll bet 20, Prince. I don't believe that you've got that other queen.
Well, that's costing you to find out, Herr Cody. So I'll see you, and I'll bump you 20.
Well, can't quit now. I'll see you. Oh,
Dad, drink for all my friends, please. And this is for you, Fräulein. You bring me luck. Come to Vashanis.
All right, somebody. Deal.
Oh, now, don't be a bad sport.
Oh, let's play the game if we're going to play.
That's a mighty valuable piece of merchandise sitting in that chair over there.
I know what you're thinking, and it's too risky.
Well, it doesn't need to be. Do you realize how much ransom money the government would pay if we hadn't...
Oh, no. We'd have every United States Marshal in the country after us, and probably the Army, too. He's never alone anyway. Cody and that other fella never let him out of their sight. Yeah, and what about Earp? He hadn't left him all night.
Well, the marshal's generally on duty till 4 o'clock in the morning. Then he sleeps till noon. That gives us 8 hours we don't have to worry about him. Now, the other 2, they're not going to cause us much trouble.
I'll go along with you if we just lift that poke he's carrying. But no kidnapping. Yeah, and that goes for me, too. You know, between him and the others, there should be quite a bit of cash.
Well, maybe you boys are right. But just the same, one of us is going to keep an eye on him from now on.
3 deuces.
Yeah, good.
I have completely good luck, eh, Marshal?
You're a good player, Your Highness. You must have had a fine teacher.
Oh, yeah, and I'll bet Buntline gets a cut of his winnings, too, huh?
I beg your pardon. Yeah.
He's still winning. I wish him luck.
He's better than Sitting Bull.
Very funny.
Hey,
Come on, let's play. Let's play.
Did you ever play with him?
Well, there they go.
Oh, Hal, you give them a half an hour and then start, huh? If you take the hill trail, you'll be at the road fork about the same time they will.
Wyatt, how do I look?
Very dangerous.
Are you sure just the 2 of them got on that stagecoach?
That's right. Neither one of them had a gun that I could see.
There it is.
Of course, Your Majesty, it isn't as bad now as it used to be, you know. But I tell you, there was a time when hardly a day passed without a robbery. And all of them, oh yes, all of them right around here in this area. Oh, that's the truth. Well, for instance, now, here. Whoa! Yes, Your Highness, on this very road, I'll venture to say that more than $1 million has changed hands.
Fantastic.
The blood of many a good man and a bad one is mingled in this dust.
All right, boys, get ready.
Wait a minute.
Hi, baby.
I knew I should have brought my gun.
What do we do now?
We don't do anything. These are very desperate men. Just be calm and act natural if you can.
One false move, you get it between the eyes.
You keep him covered, Jesse. I'll get the loot.
You call it Jesse, huh?
Here, put your money in there.
Come on, do as they say. Don't hesitate.
Looks like somebody had the same idea we did.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them.
Maybe we just better forget the whole thing.
Nah, let's stick around and see the fun.
Don't try and follow us. You'll be in trouble.
Look, Jesse, someone's coming.
Marshal Wyatt Earp, Buffalo Bill Cody.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah!
Marshal Earp! Marshal Earp! Marshal Earp! Marshal Earp! They go that way.
Takes care of that. Now, just wait a minute.
No point trying to rob him now. Their money's gone.
I'm going to do what I wanted to do in the first place. Are you 2 with me?
Now, hold on, Cagle.
Come on, if you're with me. If not, turn around and ride back.
You think we convinced him?
I think so.
Sure we did. You hear what he said? They go that way.
Hey, you better give us your guns. You're our prisoners now, remember.
Yeah.
Hey, you're what?
He's gone, Wyatt.
You think this is another one of Buntline's tricks?
I don't think so, Wyatt. That prince is pretty valuable property. Still, Ned might have ridden off with him just to worry us.
Hold this. Come here. 3 horses came in from that direction. Five horses rode off that way. Is this another one of your schemes, Bill? Did you and Buntline hire somebody to fake a kidnapping or something? If you did, I'm warning you.
So help me, Wyatt. I didn't know anything about this.
All right, well, let's trail them. Give them back their guns. You may need them. Come on, let's go.
All right, get him off the horses.
Oh, it's a very convincing performance, young man. Who thought of this, the marshal?
Oh, sure. Get in there.
Hey, Vage, you can't treat Mr. Buntline.
No joke. Oh, hey, this is no joke.
Who said it was? Get in there.
No, if you harm that boy, don't you touch him. I hold you responsible for that boy.
Get him in there. I'll put the horses away, boys.
It's impossible to tell whether they came through here or not. You ever been here before?
No, sir. Well, this isn't the right trail, I can tell you that. It dead ends in about 50 feet.
All right. Let's try it around the other way.
Let me hear the note now. What'd you say?
Well, here it is. The prince is alive and unharmed. If you want him to stay that way, it will cost you $50,000 in gold. How's that?
So far, it sounds fine. Now we got to figure out where they leave the money and how we get it without being caught.
Well, that's very simple. All you got to do is exchange a note telling where to find the prince for the gold. Now, let me see. How are we going to do that?
What about that other one?
Ah, it was a mistake bringing him along in the first place.
It wasn't a mistake. Maybe he can carry the note for us.
Yeah, maybe.
Somebody's on the trail.
Did they see you?
No.
Well, let's nail them before they get close. Why don't you take the side of the shack? Come with me, Mac.
You all right? Yeah. Looks like we came the right way. Hal, Sam! It's not bad. You lie here. Come on.
Wait. You stay here. I think I can beat this.
I missed mine. Did you get yours?
I don't think so. We got him respectful, though.
All right, Marshal. You can still see the prince is alive. And if you want to keep him like that, come in with your hands up. All of you.
Can't get a good shot at him. Where are the other two, do you know?
I don't know. I'll try to draw the fire. Neither of them can shoot for sour apples. You try to keep me covered.
Wait a minute, Phil.
All right. For the last time, I'm telling you, come in with your hands up.
You rascals have killed my friend Wyatt Earp, and you're going to pay for that.
There he is. Get him. Without Earp, we ain't got no problem.
Marshal, stay back. Untie him.
Now, Bill, now!
You all right, Mr. Butler?
Sure, why? Why, we thought you were shot. We heard Cody say they killed you.
Buffalo Bill's a pretty good showman, thanks to you. It was a trick, and it worked. But I'm finished with tricks, and you know the kind I mean.
Yeah, I sure do, Wyatt. I sure do.
Thank you, Marshal. Ich bin sehr, sehr dankbar.
That's all right, Prince. Now, come on, let's get out of here. There's some wounded men outside. Come on, get up.
Thanks, Bill.
Let's go.
Oh, gosh, my foot's asleep. You know.
As the Crown Prince of Schleswig-Holstein, I hereby decorate you with the highest award for bravery my country can bestow, the Royal Order of 21.
Well, thank you, Your Highness. I'm glad we were able to help.
Marshal, words fail me.
Well, Mr. Buntline, not for long, I am sure.
No, the world will hear of this in my next novel, The Further Adventures of Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt, you're all right. I'm going to miss you.
Well, thanks, Bill. You're all right yourself. You come back again, but next time, no tricks.
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, we're off to Wichita, if Your Highness pleases.
I do. Goodbye, Marshal.
Goodbye, Your Highness.
Off to Wichita.
Yeah, you remember Wichita.
Oh, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, well, now you keep your decoration polished,
I'll
Wyatt.
do that. You drive carefully now, huh? Well, boys, what do you think about the West? You think it's wild enough?
Yeah, I think so, Wyatt.
So do I. And I'll tell you something. If I ever agree to another scheme like we got involved in yesterday, you got my permission to put me in my own jail and throw the keys away.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So long, Wyatt! Hey! Come on, boys! Thanks for everything!
You know, Wyatt, I can't wait to read about your latest experiences in Ned Buntline's magazine.
Neither can I. You can bet your bottom dollar it won't be anything like what really happened. No, sir, it'll be a real thriller.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
Get those horses out of here. Come on, Eddie. Stack up these kegs here with you.
About 8 gunfighters on each side, the best in the business. You're not going to try to break that up.
Well, Mr. Masterson, there's nothing else we can do.
Why, we'll be running an Indian gauntlet. I mean, these boys have 45s instead of clubs.
Let's move.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Cattle wars and fights between railroad men and buffalo hunters were commonplace in the lusty and brawling 1870s. But the great stage line fight known as the Teague-Woodruff Battle presented Marshal Wyatt Earp with something new in organized violence. Mike Teague and Dan Woodruff were bitter rivals in the stage line and wagon freight business. It was still a lucrative enterprise for short-haul traffic which the railroads couldn't handle. The great network of short-line steel west of Kansas City would not be built until the 80s. Thus, Teague and Woodruff were rich men with a lot of money at stake and the ruthlessness of old-time bullwhackers.
Here comes one of Teague's stages. Now, don't shoot unless you have to.
What's the idea?
I'm Dan Woodruff, and this is my route. Teague can't horn in, so turn around.
Hold it!
Well, Mike Teague himself.
Trying to play rough, Dan?
Just as rough as you want it.
This is a public road. Climb down and shove that timber out of the way.
No! Unhitch those horses and then turn that stage over.
You better get out, folks. There's going to be trouble. You can't do this to me, Dan.
Shut up. All right, go ahead. Driver, get down off of there. All right, men, turn it over. There'll be a Woodruff stage along in about 5 minutes, so take it easy. Now, this is just a mild warning. Don't try to jump any more on my routes.
So you think you can stop me with guns? Well, I can hire guns, too. Plenty of them in Dodge City.
So can I, Mike, if that's how it's got to be.
Oh, that's how. Next time you try this, you'll see.
It's a long walk. You better wait for my stage.
I'll walk.
Mike Teague.
Yes?
I'm Bat Masterson.
Where's Wyatt Earp?
He's busy right now. Do you want
Oh.
to talk to me?
Sure do. Take over. We'll do our talking in there.
All right.
And you get $100 a day and expenses. I guarantee you 15 days' work. Cal Pope, Dave Rudabaugh, Kingfisher, and Lee Hall have all signed up already.
Hey, that's $1,500. Well, count me in. If Wyatt will give me a leave of absence.
Oh, we can use Earp, too.
All right, I'll sound him out and let you know this afternoon.
Right. Bye, Mr. Masterson.
Bye. And that $1,500's clear money.
Well, Mr. Teague is hiring gunfighters.
Oh, there won't be any fight, Wyatt. Dan Woodruff's just bluffing.
Hmm.
Well, if you don't want to go yourself, how about a leave of absence for me? Between cattle drives and the town's pretty quiet.
Look, Mr. Masterson, I hate to ring the bell on another school session for you, but you're working for the town, remember?
Yes, sir.
I used to know Mike Teague in Wichita, and any deal of his is apt to be kind of shady. Dan Woodruff is an old-time bullwhacker. He isn't going to take this line down.
Well, what choice has he got?
Well, you know, there are a lot of other great gunmen in town, like Pat Garrett, Smoky Hill Thompson, the Catfish Kid. Has Mike Teague hired them?
You think Woodruff aims to get himself some boys, too, huh?
That's right.
Well, I sure hate to back out on a gunfight. I'll go tell Mr. Teague.
No. You can have your leave of absence if you really want it.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Just one thing I want you to think about, though.
Yeah?
Charlie Bassett doesn't want to run for sheriff again. I can't say I blame him. I told the county commissioners I thought you could handle the job.
Sheriff? Me?
Well, you're a little young, but you're as much a man now as you're ever going to be.
I wouldn't vote for me. I'm too young. Still, I've been on a trail with Mike Teague. What if he got us into a gunfight or something? That wouldn't look good. Yeah, I better think about it.
Good. In the meantime, you run on over to the Dodge Hotel. There's a Miss Amelia Woodruff sent word she wanted to see me.
Woodruff?
Yeah, I think she's Dan Woodruff's daughter.
Well, why don't you go?
Well, you were supposed to be the woman expert.
Yeah? What does she look like?
Well, now, that's for you to find out.
Yes?
Miss Woodruff?
Yes. Oh, but you can't be Marshal Earp.
Well, I'm his chief deputy, Bat Masterson.
Why, you're second to Mr. Earp on Papa's list. Are you really a gunfighter?
Well, I'm not as fast as Mr. Earp.
Well, I declare. Sit down, Mr. Masterson. Papa and I need help. I never heard of such skullduggery. Mr. Mike Teague coming here to hire a lot of gunfighters so they can pick on our stage line. What chance have we got, Mr. Masterson? Fighting to keep the route that Papa established years before Great Western was ever heard of.
Well, there's ways of handling a deal like this.
But how?
I better wait till your father gets here.
Well, is it something you shouldn't tell me? But I've been Papa's right-hand man ever since Mama died. Look, money. Papa trusts me with it.
That's what it's going to take.
What do you mean? Oh, now, look, I'm not a silly child, Mr. Masterson.
All right, Miss Amelia. Tell your father he can handle this in one of two ways. He can hire as many gunfighters as Mike Teague, or pay the men Teague has hired to come over to our side.
Our side? Oh, I love you like a big brother. Will you handle it? I'll give you the money right now, and by the time Papa gets in, we'll have all of Teague's men bought off.
Well, I can't do that yet.
Why?
Well, I'm a deputy marshal. I can't go around town making deals with some of these gunmen. They're hoodlums.
Well, can't you quit your job? Or ask Marshal Earp to give you a vacation?
Well, look, if there's any hitch to it, I'll send for you to talk to Wyatt.
Well, is he young enough to be my big brother?
Well, the old man sure thinks he is.
Let me see your shotgun, Frankie. Well, not a man here with less than 10 notches. Teague figures nothing but the best for the Great Western.
Howdy, Marshal.
Well, howdy, Mr. Pickett.
I want you to get any wrong notions. I didn't sign up, and neither did Louis Bozeman or Johnny Culp.
Well, I understand Mr. Teague is paying mighty well.
You gave Bozeman and Culp and me a break in Wichita. We're paying it back. Dan Woodruff's in town.
Thanks.
He'll be up in Teague's ante. If I were you, I'd chase them both out of Dodge.
They're both fighting over a stage route that's miles from there.
30 top guns and 2 stupid money men bidding against each other for their help? The fight'll start right here. Me? I'm leaving. So long, Wyatt.
So long, Tom.
Wyatt? Teague lied to me.
How's that?
He's trying to horn in on Mr. Woodruff's route. He's really hiring those gunfighters to take over the Woodruff route by force.
Well, Miss Amelia must be very young and very beautiful.
She's got nothing to do with it, Wyatt. It's the principle of the thing. Her dad pioneered that route. Harold Teague is nothing but a...
Hold it.
Back door. You gonna let him get away?
You know, I'll bet that's Amelia's father, the one that took the money.
Oh, you loco. Her father's the president of the Woodruff Transportation Company.
Remind me to tell you some stories about him. In the meantime, we'll arrest Mr. Teague.
Arrest him? What for?
Two of Woodruff's men. They got away with my money. Close to $5,000.
Mr. Woodruff doesn't need to rob anybody.
That daughter of his must have gone to your head.
Why, you...
Take it easy. You're under arrest, Mr. Teague.
I'm under arrest?
That's right, inciting to riot. You come along with us, we're going to talk to Mr. Woodruff. Come on.
We hear you're offering more than Teague.
That's right.
He offers us $1,500 guarantee and all expenses.
I'll pay $2,000 in expenses.
Sounds fine with me, Mr. Woodruff. But let's see your money.
Very well.
Come on.
You robber, that's my
Shut
money.
up. Your name Woodruff? Dan Woodruff?
It is.
Miss Amelia related to you?
My daughter, sir. What's this intrusion?
That's my money, and you know it.
You stay out of this. He's under arrest, and you're next. Charlie, all deals are off. Go pass the word.
Well, I hope you know what you're doing, Wyatt.
You can't arrest me. Teague came here to hire a private army. I've committed no crime. Those men told me...
You're lying. We saw the holdup. We saw those men give you a flour sack full of this money. Here's the flour sack.
Are you crybabying to the law, Mike?
No, just give me back my money.
It isn't half of what you took from me in passenger fares, jumping my best route.
Who's crybabying now?
Never mind. We'll impound the money. You take charge of it. I'm not arresting you for robbery.
Nor for anything else.
Oh, yes, I am. For inciting to riot.
Relax, Dan. I've got friends here.
Come on, let's go to jail.
Papa, what's happening?
This Cowtown marshal's arresting us on a technical charge. I'll not be delayed long, my dear.
Marshal?
Mr. Masterson will explain it to you.
I thought you were on our side.
Now, when it comes to robbery,
Is Marshal Earp accusing my father of...
we saw his men take the stuff and hand it to Mr. Woodruff.
Oh, that's absurd. Why, Papa's worth $500,000. If he had the boys hold up Mike Teague, it's because the money was ours to begin with.
This is Dodge City, Miss Amelia. Hold-ups are against the law here.
Oh, the law? Really?
Yep, and it's moving west all the time. You better tell Papa the news.
Papa was running stage lines before we ever heard of sheriffs and town marshals. He had to fight Indians and robbers, and now he has to stop Mike Teague from jumping our best route. Oh, don't you preach to me about the law.
Oh, I'm not preaching, honey.
Oh, yes, you are. And that's ridiculous, because you'll soon be out of a job.
You know, I sure have a weakness for decent, bad little girls.
Pat Garrett says to stick around. Teague and Woodruff will be back in business real soon.
You know, Tig's got a lot of drag around here. He'll take care of everything. Sit down and pour yourself a drink.
And the case just won't stand up, Wyatt. They can say they came here to employ special police. That's not incitement to riot.
Well, Mr. Mayor, what about a robbery charge?
Teague and Woodruff have been fighting each other for years. But if it came to an issue, Teague wouldn't prosecute.
We saw the whole thing.
Sure, but what if Teague says it was all a practical joke? No, you'll have to turn him loose. And don't tell me you're trying to head off a gunfight in the streets. We can't hold men in jail just because we think there might be shooting.
I think there will be.
So do I. That's not a bunch of drunken cowhands Teague and Woodruff are hiring.
No, they're all top guns. If they cut loose, there are going to be people killed.
But you can anticipate that there's...
Yes, sir, I can. That's my job. Now, you can take the risk.
Now, Wyatt, don't force me to suspend you again.
Sir, I'm suspended.
Me too.
Yeah? Then I'll have to release Teague and Woodruff myself. Give them back the money.
No, sir, not the money. I'm still a United States Marshal. Until Judge Tobin gets back, I won't have a warrant to hold those men, but I can hold the robbery evidence on my own hook.
This time, Wyatt, the city council is going to fire you. I'm sorry.
Well, Deacon, we sure showed him.
Oh, yeah. Holding this stuff isn't going to slow Woodruff and Teague much. They can cash sight traps at the bank. How did you get along with Miss Amelia?
She started to slap me, then she didn't. Why?
Well, Judge Tobin's coming in on the 4 o'clock Santa Fe. I'm going to have to watch Teague and the boys he hired. That leaves Woodruff to you.
If he plans to start it, I don't think Miss Amelia would tell me.
Maybe not, but she's our only chance.
Yeah. But if those gunslingers go to shooting, you don't figure on trying to stop it, do you?
I'd have to try.
Well, swear me in.
What?
Well, you don't expect me to go against John Ringo with a catfish kid with this, do you? Bang, bang, Ringo, you're dead.
Say, you know, you're right. Nothing like getting killed legally.
And I'll let you fellas in on a little secret. Half of Teague's men have accepted more money from me. We've got Mike outnumbered 2-1.
There's quite a few packing guns north of the line since Earp got fired. What are we going to do about that?
You think they're Teague's men?
Mm-hmm.
Then put on your guns.
Fine, Mr. Woodruff. Let's go, men.
Papa,
Yes, my dear. A couple more good men I think I can hire. I'm going over to the Alhambra bar.
why did you tell those men to put on their guns?
I can't have our side bluffed out by Mike Teague.
What if they go to shooting?
Oh, they won't hurt anybody. Now stop worrying. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh, it's you.
Look, I lost my job. You were right about the law. It's a swindle.
You're still wearing a gun? Or did you sign on with Mike Teague?
What makes you think so?
Well, I don't know what to think. Some of Teague's men are armed, and Papa had to... Excuse me, I'm going to my room.
You scared of a fight?
There isn't going to be one. Both sides are bluffing.
You know better than that.
Let go of me.
Look, quite a few are apt to get hurt. You like the idea?
I know I don't like you.
Woodruff's men. Buckling on their guns. There's a couple behind the barrel over here. There's two down the street by the door. See him? Down there.
You want to fight? Get your guns.
Papa, wait. Bat thinks there's going to be a fight. You promised me.
Now, Amelia, we're going to talk about this at the hotel.
But you said it was just a bluff.
It's gone too far now.
Aren't you even going to stop our men
No.
from...
Teague asked for it, and he's going to get it.
Then I think there ought to be a law to stop you both. And if I were a man, I'd help the law.
Amelia.
They're getting ready out there. About 8 on each side, maybe more.
Now we're in luck.
Huh?
Now, the professional gunfighters, not drunken cowhands. They won't draw against the drop. We'll use buckshot. Now, this is what we're going to do. Listen.
Get those horses out of here. Come on, Eddie. Get this horse out of here. Stack up these kegs over here.
Papa, no! Oh, somebody stop them! Stop them!
Keep out of this, Masterson.
Oh, I ain't in it.
Real money, friends. Yes, sir. Real money. Courtesy of Mr. Woodruff and Mr. Teague.
We'll hold our fire, men, if you will.
We'll hold. We'll hold.
Let's go, men.
It's a trick, you fools!
All right, lift your hands and keep the money. That's it, Mr. Masterson. Keep him covered. First one of you goes for a gun's gonna get a leg full of buckshot. Anybody else?
You win, Earp. Kid was a fool to draw against a drop.
All right, let's walk to jail. Couple of you pick him up and take him to the docks. Mr. Masterson, you stay with him. The rest of you move. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hurry up.
Marshal Earp, you admit that 2 or 3 token shots had been fired, and when you rode in, all firing stopped. No one was hurt. And when you scattered the money, both factions joined hands, as it were.
Well, they picked up the money, sir.
And so the threatened riot or battle or whatever you call it ended happily.
Well, sir, I took them to jail, if that's what you call happiness.
Mr. Woodruff and Mr. Teague both deny that they instructed guards to start a gun battle. So I fail to see how a charge of incitement to riot has any validity.
Excuse me. Are you the judge?
Yes, I am, young lady.
Now, Amelia.
It's no use, Papa. My father and Mr. Teague both incited their men to a fight. I begged my father to stop it, but he didn't want it stopped.
Young lady, are you certain there would have been a fight?
I saw them, lined up on opposite sides of Front Street. My father was with his men, and Mr. Teague was on his side.
More crybaby and Dan? You even get your own daughter to...
Silence. The law's indebted to you, Miss Woodruff. Wasn't easy to come here and tell the truth. Mr. Mayor, you'll reinstate Marshal Earp and Deputy Masterson at once. I'll pass sentence on the Messrs. Woodruff and Teague at a session of court tomorrow morning. Hearing's adjourned.
You sure got Mr. Masterson and me out of a tight corner.
I got my father out of a worse one, Mr. Earp. If he and Mike Teague can hire private armies, they'll go on until a lot of people are killed. I guess I want the law to move west of Dodge City.
Well, ma'am, your father's lived a long time in a rough part of the country. You be patient with him. And Judge Tobin will let him off with a fine.
Well, hi, honey. Oh, your father wants to forgive you, and I'd like to take you to dinner.
Mr. Masterson, why did you fib to me?
Fib me?
Mm-hmm. You told me that Marshal Earp was too old to be my big brother. Oh, not that I'd want you for a brother.
Why, thank you, ma'am. You've made an old man very happy.
What did you...
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Politics on the frontier of 1876 was often a brawling, conniving business. Wyatt Earp, as Marshal of Dodge City, was appointed by the mayor and council. He didn't have to run for election. But when Charlie Bassett, sheriff of Ford County, decided not to seek election again, Wyatt was confronted with a difficult choice. He must either allow a bad choice, backed by some cattlemen, to take over the sheriff's office, or he must find a candidate with whom he could work in honest law enforcement. So Wyatt decided that young Bat Masterson should make the race for sheriff. The big trouble was that neither Wyatt nor Bat knew how many guns were loaded and aimed at them.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Thanks, but I ain't sheriff yet. Just a small matter of getting elected. Maybe that'll help.
What you got in mind, Mr. Lanford?
Well, you know that Earp's talked Bat Masterson into running against me.
Mm-hmm.
Just two things wrong with Bat as a candidate.
He's Earp's best friend. What's the other thing?
He's young and cocky. He won't walk away from a fight. I've got to make the voters understand that a brawling, trigger-happy kid ain't the sort they want for sheriff. Maybe you fellas can help spread that idea around.
I don't know. Bat's awful good with a gun, Mr. Lanford.
You won't need guns. Don't even wear those things. Get him into arguments. Pick fistfights with him. Keep him in trouble. He's bound to lose his temper and get himself branded around the county as a hoodlum brat. See what I mean?
seen Mr. Masterson?
Sure, he's in the parlor of the Dodge Hotel, sparking Miss Alma.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's no need to fret, Wyatt. The voters approve of Miss Alma. At least they elected her daddy state senator.
Yeah. Well, she thinks she knows too much about politics. Now, Hal, you take my patrol. I'm going to see to it that the future Sheriff Masterson gets home safe.
It isn't that I have anything personal against Mr. Earp. But what kind of a political campaign is this? No speeches, no rallies, nothing but a couple of advertisements in the Globe.
Oh, honey, you know I couldn't make a speech. I'd be all tongue-tied, and I'd...
Well, Jerry Lamphere's making speeches. He goes all over the county.
Shaking hands, kissing babies. Whew, those poor babies.
Well, my father says you're going to lose if you keep listening to Mr. Earp. He's a political liability.
What?
He's a controversial figure. He has personal enemies, and the voters will think that you're much too close.
You folks got a lease on this here parlor? Move on, Sonny. I'm expecting a gal of my own.
Let's you and me settle this outside.
Oh, no, that, please.
Ah, he's just talking big. He wouldn't...
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hold it! That's enough. Hold your temper. You get out of here.
I'll see him again.
We'll all be around. Now, what was all this about?
He came busting in here
And you hit him first. Now he'll probably go all over town talking mean, and then he'll start another fight. Papa says that's the main thing Bat has to be on his guard against.
Well, the senator's right. Why don't you take Miss Alma down to the Texas Cafe and have some lemonade? Simmer down.
How did you get here so quick?
I just happened to be standing outside and I heard the rumpus. You take charge of him, Miss Alma.
No, I've got a headache now, and I'm going up to my room.
I sure am sorry, hon.
Couldn't be helped, I guess. But you should have stayed out of it, Mr. Earp. Every time you show the voters how close you are to Bat, it'll cost him votes. Well, Papa says it could be fatal.
Yes.
I'll see you later, Bat.
For dinner?
All right.
She just got upset about the fight.
Yeah. Did you ever see that cowhand before?
No.
Mr. Lamphere must be trying something cute.
Politics. To make me look bad?
That's right. I got a hunch. Let me have your gun. You walk down towards the Texas Cafe. I'll follow you, but no gun.
All right. Either of you?
Now we'll have it out real good.
No, you don't sucker me again. You take him to jail. I'll go see Lamphere.
No, that's just what he wants. Now, these two can walk. You heard him on to jail.
All right. Come on.
You'd make a fine sheriff, beating people up in the street.
Come on.
What's got you moaning so low?
Politics. I don't like politics.
Oh, you don't like politics, huh?
No, I must have been local when I promised you I'd run for sheriff.
Now, this is important. We've kept a lid on Dodge. And the only reason we've been able to do that is because Charlie Bassett and Bill Tillman have run an honest sheriff's office, right?
Right.
Now, if those hoodlums put Lamphere across as sheriff, the whole town is going to blow wide open. Don't you understand that?
Why can't I withdraw and let you run?
Look, we've been through this a dozen times. They wouldn't elect me for sheriff. I'm not that popular.
Well, I think you are.
Weren't you at the hotel when Miss Alma told us that my being your friend was a drawback?
Oh, I suppose we gotta quit being friends, huh? Oh, no, if that's what it takes to get elected.
All you gotta do is just take it easy and stay out of fights. Now, the reason the Lamphere sicked those 3 gunfighters on you was so that people would think that you were raunchy and wild. Now, you just let me do the fighting.
And the voters will think I'm scared.
No, they won't. Now, look. Being a sheriff is a dignified job. You just can't go around swinging at every cowhand that's hired to taunt you into it.
All right. I'm going home. Will I get my gun back?
No. I'm escorting you home.
No, it's still my bodyguard, huh? Well, you never let any of us wet nurse you.
That's because I'm not running for sheriff of Ford County.
Well, a promise is a promise. I'll be a good little boy.
And now, gentlemen, I come to the main point. My opponent, Mr. Bat Masterson, is a common thug. A hireling in the employ of Wyatt Earp. I don't believe it. I have here 3 honest cowhands just now released from Mr. Earp's prison. Last night, each one of them was set upon by Mr. Masterson. And when they tried to defend themselves, Mr. Earp joined his friend Masterson in beating them with fists and gun barrels. Masterson had no reason to assault these men. I'm going to introduce them presently, and each one of them will tell you that Masterson was in a nasty mood and picked a fight.
You wait here.
Oh, no, Bat, no.
Is this the kind of man you want for sheriff? A drunken, irresponsible gunfighter and hoodlum. A killer who, if elected, will still be working for Marshal Earp. You're a liar!
All right, Mr. Masterson, you take care of Miss Alma.
He was lying about me. He said
I don't care. You take her back to the hotel and then start your patrol. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It was just a political speech. Politicians don't have to take an oath when they talk.
Mr. Lamphere, I'm sorry if Mr. Masterson said you were lying.
Oh, you're sorry?
That's right. You see, Mr. Masterson just doesn't understand that you're a natural-born liar and can't help yourself.
What are you laughing at? I know what I'm doing.
Now, we got free speech in this town. So, Mr. Lamphere, you just go on with your meeting.
You try and stop me.
Well, I just said I wouldn't do that. Now, you just climb back up on your little platform there and tell the biggest whoppers you can think of.
That is just exactly the sort of thing that will keep right on happening here in Dodge City. You saw with your own eyes.
Well, you won't listen to me.
I will now.
Really? Well, I told you last night, you and Mr. Earp don't know ABC about politics. Now, my father's coming to town this afternoon. He can tell you how to get elected.
All right.
You'll do what he says?
Yes.
Papa likes you. If you go along with his ideas, you can win. And being sheriff is just a beginning. Why, there's no telling how high you can go in politics. I like you, too. Very much.
Well, thanks, Hannah.
Oh, later. Here comes Mr. Earp.
Here, wear this.
Oh, I thought you didn't want me to wear a gun.
Yeah. Mr. Lamphere isn't going to try fist-fighting anymore. He's proved his point.
You think he'll gun me?
Well, he's a little too slow for that. But he might hire a drunk or somebody else to make a play against you, hoping you'll shoot.
Yeah, I get it. But why you trust me with a gun? I might lose my temper and use it.
Lose the election?
Yeah.
No, you won't shoot unless you have to. Anyway, Mr. Lamphere is playing a lot dirtier than I expected. You can't walk around town unarmed.
What happened to your idea of wet nursing me?
Well, I got a nice little telegram here from Senator Drew. Says if we want his support, we got to follow his instructions. I guess Miss Alma sent him a telegram last night.
Yeah, I guess she did. But you're still the boss as far as I'm concerned, Wack.
So let's see what the political expert has to say. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be a deputy marshal. So, get on your patrol.
Right.
The Globe just came out. They've printed every one of Lamphere's charges right on page 1.
Masterson assaults cowhands. Goes on rampage with fists. The Earp candidate denounced by Jerry Lamphere. Stupid. Damnably stupid.
Oh, it isn't Bat's fault, but you know how he hero worships Mr. Earp.
Well, I thought he listened to you until I could get here.
Not against Mr. Earp. Oh, they're both just babes in the woods, really. But, Papa, I still think Bat can amount to something. The people like him. And the... Oh, Mr. Earp, I'm so glad you could come in a hurry.
Not at all. Howdy, Senator.
Hello, Wyatt. Sit yourself down.
Thank you.
Papa has to go back to Topeka on the night train, so I'll leave you two to talk.
Seen this?
No, sir. Well, you know, the Globe is supporting Mr. Lanfair. He does a lot of advertising.
I don't like the hoodlum crowd. That's why I encouraged you to find a man who can beat Lanfair.
Yes, sir.
Frankly, when you picked Masterson, I had my doubts, but Alma's kind of interested in the boy.
Well, sir, in all due respect to Miss Alma, I didn't consider her feelings. I picked Mr. Masterson because I could trust him and I could work with him.
That's the trouble.
What do you mean?
Politically, Wyatt, you and Bat are too close.
Oh, I see.
You've been a fine marshal here, but let's face it. An honest peace officer makes enemies. He can't be honest and popular at the same time.
I guess so. Well, I don't see why Mr. Masterson has to be saddled with my enemies.
There's a way around that. You and Masterson could have a big row in public.
You mean a fake quarrel?
Wyatt, this is politics. A campaign is half play acting. You want an honest sheriff, right?
That's right.
Then what's a little Phineas T. Barnum stunt compared to getting Bat elected?
Well, except Mr. Masterson can't act worth shucks.
Bat doesn't have to be an actor. You make the quarrel. Make him think it's in dead earnest.
Well, all right, you're the expert, Senator. I'll trail him around. Maybe something will happen to make it look good.
Fine, Wyatt, fine.
No. Put it on the ace. The ace. That isn't. You gotta play percentage in this thing, boy. You never will win it. Look, if it was. Where you going?
Frog face. Turn around. I want to talk to you. Have you thought it over?
Tain't enough money, Mr. Lanfair. I can get killed.
Bat won't draw on you.
No? How can I be sure of that?
$50 more says he won't. He can't afford a gunfight, Frogface. He's in politics. All you have to do is wave your gun around at him, call him a few names.
Oh, play acting, huh? Did you just play acting, Mr. Lanfair?
A practical joke, that's all.
Oh. Well, if that's all it is. You know what I'll do? I'll pull out my gun, I'll sneak up behind him, and I'll say, wait a minute, you. And then I might even fire a shot over his head, just to give him a little scare, see? Then when he turns around, I'll say, I got you, you bum. What, you think you're gonna make a sheriff of this town? Let's see what kind of a brave sheriff you are, and I bet you'll just fade right away from me.
Hello, Bat. How's your campaign coming?
Pretty good, thanks.
Stay in there, boy. I'm gonna vote for you, Bat.
Thanks, Mr. Stinson.
You yellow pup. Now I got you.
Now, take it easy, Frogface.
Go for your gun. Let's see what kind of a brave sheriff you'd make. Oh! You shot me! I'm killed! I'm killed!
Mr. Masters, you promised to quit fighting.
What? Wasn't a fight. Hold still now, Frogface.
He started drawing me, White. I had to defend myself.
It's an accident with his own gun. You're not hurt bad, just pinched in the leg.
Yeah. You'll be all right, Frogface. I'll get you over to Dr. McCarty. Oh. Well, that winds it up, Mr. Masterson, turning your star.
What?
You broke your promise.
Are you loco? I told you it was an accident.
We used to be friends. I did the best I could for you. Now we're finished.
Why, listen.
Save your breath.
Don't take it that way, Bat. You're lucky to find out so quick.
Lucky?
I wasn't going to vote for you, but now that you're rid of Earp, I'm with you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. And I'm not saying I never made a lot of trouble for Wyatt. Ever since the first days in Ellsworth, I've been getting into scrapes he got me out of. But this time it's his fault. He wouldn't even give me a chance to explain. Just gets sore and fires me in front of that crowd of hoodlums.
Maybe he never really was your friend.
Wyatt, he's been like my big brother. He taught me gunfighting. Saved my life half a dozen times.
But a true friend wouldn't pull out on you the way he did.
Yeah, I can't understand it. I don't know what to do, Alma. It's been Wyatt and me. on the trail together in gunfights side by side. But I'm not going to beg him. He says we're through, so we're through.
And a good riddance, darling.
No. No, not losing a friend like Wyatt.
But now you'll win the election.
Election? What does that amount to compared to a man...
It cost you votes, hundreds of votes. Why, honey, when Papa heard about the split up, he said you're as good as elected. You have his support now all the way. And Papa knows. We're going far in politics. You'll be governor before many years, and
votes, votes, yeah, sure.
Well, what's the matter?
I don't know. I got to think about this. I'll take a walk, and I'll think about it.
Oh, Wyatt, my boy.
Well, I guess you heard, huh?
Wonderful. Worked like a charm. Or didn't it?
Well, I don't know. I think I hurt his feelings. I was rougher on him than I meant to be.
Nonsense. After the election, you can explain to that. And you'll both have a good laugh over it. Now then, the boy has to make a few speeches. Here in Dodge and around the county. A public row isn't quite enough. He'll have to denounce you and tell the voters that he doesn't want your support.
Yes, sir.
I've hired him a campaign wagon and all the trimmings. And Spike Gillum, my own manager, is going to take charge. Bat could go places. He's young, but women want to mother him. And women swing a lot of votes, even if they can't vote themselves. Bat has a good, honest face, and he likes people.
Well, there's just one thing, though. What if he doesn't make up to me?
Now, don't you worry about that. Politics is politics. Well, I'm in a rush. Have a lot of odds and ends to pick up and a train to catch. Here's to the new sheriff, Bat Masterson.
Well, sir, thank you for your advice.
No, I must thank you for taking my advice. Don't miss Bat's speech this afternoon. More effective if you're in the crowd when he denounces you.
I'll be there, sir.
Gentlemen, my father had to return to Topeka on business, so he asked me to introduce Mr. Masterson, our next sheriff. Now, you all know Mr. Masterson's record as a fearless deputy marshal. But there is one point that I'm sure Mr. Masterson wishes to explain to the voters. His opponent is charged that he is the henchman of Marshal Wyatt Earp. This is not true. Mr. Masterson and Mr. Earp are no longer friends. But I'm sure that Mr. Masterson doesn't need me to speak for him. He can speak for himself. And so I give you Mr. William B. Bat Masterson, the next sheriff of Ford County.
I'd like to talk directly to Wyatt Earp. Wyatt, Alma's got things a little mixed up. You're still my friend no matter what you think of me. Look, you're sore at me. And maybe as you see it, you have a right to be sore. Well, that doesn't matter. I'll go on naming you as my friend as long as I live. And if claiming you as a friend makes me unworthy of election as sheriff, well, that doesn't matter. You know, good friends are scarce in this life. A man would be a fool to trade a friend for a political office. Anybody that votes for me votes for Wyatt Earp, too.
I don't exactly like you, Earp, but I'll vote for you. And I'm going to vote for Bat Masterson.
Stupid.
And furthermore, gentlemen,
Masterson.
Yeah, you better wear that, too.
Thanks, Wyatt. You know, you sell yourself too short. I'm going to win that election, and mostly because of you.
Yeah? Well, I don't know. You lost Miss Alma and her papa.
2 votes, phooey.
Get behind me. Keep your hand off that gun.
Quiet!
No. Lick him at the poles. Come on, help me pick up these men. Take them over the dock. Come on, you're not hurt again.
That for 540. Masterson 962. I never would have believed it. Hey, how about that?
Congratulations, Sheriff Masterson.
Thanks.
Come here. Take that off.
Oh, yes, sir.
Compliments of Marshal Earp.
Is this all you got to do to be elected? Just be yourself and tell the truth?
Well, I tell you, politicians have been trying to figure out different ways for over 1,000 years, but you can't lick the truth. And every once in a while, a good man comes along to prove it. Say, I almost forgot, there's a pretty little gal waiting for you over in the parlor of the Dodge Hotel.
Miss Alma.
No. No, this one wants you to run for president next year.
A new girl. Excuse me.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
On the Kansas frontier in the late 1870s, what men called justice was often savage. Alleged rustlers and horse thieves were hanged by their captors without trial. Judges like Roy Bean and Oklahoma Parker ordered men to the gallows for crimes which today would be punished by imprisonment. Wyatt Earp, as Marshal of Dodge City, was one of many peace officers who stood against lynch law and the severity of so-called legal justice. When Dal Royal, a Texas cowhand, was sentenced to be hanged for murder, Marshal Earp and Sheriff Bat Masterson staged a two-man fight against the cruel indifference of the public and the bloodlust of the gallows.
All right, there he is. Roll your hats in these bushes. Get those masks on. You two, take him alive if you can. I don't think he'll put up a fight, but if he does, we'll be ready for him. Move on out. Come on!
Got them both, Judge.
My fault. I should have ambushed him. Take off their masks and their guns. we'll hang that traitor legally for murder. Mr. Royal, this court has found you guilty of murder in the first degree. You offered no defense. Have you anything to say now? Very well. This court sentences you to be hanged. Sheriff Masterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will escort the prisoner to jail in our county seat, Dodge City, from this court in Buckland. You will execute the order of the court before sundown tomorrow.
I gotta do the hanging?
You're the sheriff of all of Ford County, aren't you?
Well, yes, but...
It's part of your duties to execute condemned murderers.
Well, I just never thought... I reckon I never took that part of my job into consideration.
Sheriff, I happen to be chief magistrate of Buckland Township, Ford County. You'll carry out my orders.
Yes, sir. My sundown tomorrow?
I'll put it in writing for you. You've heard of malfeasance in office.
Well...
Failure to comply with a court order could result in immediate removal as sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Court is adjourned. You'll wait here for this order to be written and get on your way to Dodge City.
It wasn't murder. Why didn't you say so? Why didn't you say something?
I couldn't.
Why?
Thanks just the same, Sheriff. I'm not talking. You better take that order and let's go.
Thanks. All right, you stand over there. I'll help you on your horse when we ride to Dodge.
Marshal Earp.
That's right, ma'am.
Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid you might be out of town. Have you heard about Dal?
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, ma'am.
Well, could we talk in your office in private?
Certainly.
I'm Alice Hendricks. My papa owns the KT spread. Dow Royal, the boy I mentioned, was our foreman. We just got word he's in awful trouble.
Come on inside.
Thank you. That awful Judge Smith at Buckland sentenced him to death, Marshal. Sheriff Masterson is bringing him here. Oh, Dow wouldn't murder anybody. Even Papa admits that. And I want to hire lawyers. Do anything to help Dow. But most of all, will you help him?
Well, I do what I can, Miss Alice, but it happened out in the county, and that's under the jurisdiction of Sheriff Masterson.
Papa says Bat is just a kid. I need you, Mr. Earp.
Well, he's not a kid. He's a very capable man, and he...
Dow! Oh, Dow! Dow! Dow, why didn't you send us word? Why didn't you...
Now, Alice, you keep out of this.
I will not. Why'd you let that judge do such a horrible thing? Oh, handcuffs. You take them right off. Dal isn't a criminal.
Alice.
Don't blame me, ma'am. I begged him to talk up for himself at the trial, but he wouldn't do it.
I'm going inside.
I'm going in, too. Don't you try to stop me. Marshal Earp, could I talk to Dal alone, please?
Certainly, ma'am. You can go right in there. When they're finished, you book them and lock them up.
Kind of pretty, that gal. Maybe she can get the truth out of him. And look what I gotta do. You talked me into running for sheriff. You didn't tell me I was gonna have to hang people.
Dal Royal sentenced to be hanged for murder of Hanby and Tremont. Well, is Mr. Royal guilty?
2 unarmed cattlemen dead on the trail near Buckland. A lot of horse marks, one set led into town. A friend of the men pointed out Dal as having quarreled with him. When I arrested him, he'd thrown his 6-gun away. One of my deputies found it in a ditch, 2 empty cartridges. Dal wouldn't say anything.
You say there were a lot of horse tracks? More than 3?
Yeah, 6 or 7. Looked like Dal might have been riding with a gang. Had a fight and shot a couple. And what are you going to do if a man won't talk?
Well, you think he's guilty?
No, sir, I don't. I think he shot him, but he doesn't look like a fellow who'd fire on unarmed men.
Yeah, well, that's what we have courts for, to decide that.
That boy's been eating loco weed or something. He says he can't talk because they'll get me.
Who's they?
We won't tell. You're a fine sheriff. I bet you don't even know the names of the hoodlums Dowell's supposed to have murdered.
Hanby and Tremont. And they weren't hoodlums.
They weren't?
No, they were cattle ranchers from East Texas.
You ever hear of them, Miss Alice?
No, but Dowell's an East Texas boy. What do you aim to do about it, Mr. Earp?
Well, time is getting kind of short. Judge Tobin will be here tonight. I'll ask him for a stay of execution.
You see? Marshal Earp wants to help us.
Sheriff Masterson is handling the case, ma'am.
Do you advise me getting a lawyer?
No, ma'am. I advise you to keep after Mr. Royal. You try and get him to talk. You can threaten him or use persuasion or whatever your female wisdom decides. In the meantime, you and I will shake out the town. Ought to be somebody in Dodge who remembers Hanby or Tremont.
What if I can't persuade him? Will you give me a key and let me turn him loose?
No, we won't.
I'm afraid we couldn't do that, Miss Alice. And don't you waste your very considerable charm on us. You just work on Mr. Royal.
I will. Oh, I will. Thank you. I'll threaten that boy not ever to speak to him again.
Girls. She doesn't believe that tomorrow before sundown I'm going to have to...
Well, maybe it's kinder if she doesn't. Come on, let's go to work.
Why does she kiss you and act sore at me?
I think that maybe deep down she knows what you may have to do. Come here.
What for?
I want to talk to you. Look, I want to ask you once more. A man's life depends on this.
I'm thinking about my life.
Now, you're not going to get hurt.
What about them whitecaps?
Whitecaps? What do you know about them? Were Hanby and Tremont whitecaps? Were they?
Yes.
What about Delroy? Was he one too?
I don't know. I don't know nothing. Just let me out of here.
Now, Mr. Royal, we have reason to believe that Hanby and Tremont belong to the Whitecaps.
What's that?
You know the Whitecaps.
Maybe you won yourself. Maybe that's why...
The Whitecaps are an offshoot of the old clan. Now, I got a hunch you belonged. Maybe you quit.
And when they tried to bushwhack you, you shot Hanby and Tremont and rode into Buckland.
Now, Judge Tobin will be here in a few minutes. If this is true, or any part of it's true, you should tell the judge. He might grant you a stay of execution.
For how long?
Long enough for us to dig into that Whitecap gang.
That'd take a long time, Sheriff. Meanwhile, Alice and her father... Thanks just the same.
You won't talk to the judge?
Marshal, I know the Whitecaps. You don't. You're asking me to buy a little time at the risk of Alice's life. Would you do that if you were in my spot?
No.
Of course you wouldn't, and neither would Bat. One thing you can do for me, though. Get Alice out of town and let me swing tonight.
No. We're going to try and break up this Whitecap outfit. With your help, Mr. Royal, or without it. So anyway, Judge Tobin, Mr. Masterson and I think that it was a Whitecap deal. We think they framed Mr. Royal into that murder charge after failing to bushwhack him.
Any evidence?
No, sir, not yet. They work in secret.
Yes. And I can understand young Mr. Royal's fear of talking. But I can't grant the stay, Wyatt. I'd be in immediate trouble with Judge Smith at Buckland.
Sir, you outrank him.
It's not that simple, Wyatt. We'd have to go to the Supreme Court or the governor. And only on the basis of new evidence. Now, you haven't got new evidence. Just a theory.
No, sir. A man's life depends on it.
Check Front Street.
You know who he is?
Yeah, he's the man who told me about Hamby and Tremont.
Whitecaps, huh? Let me talk to Dow Royal this time.
Whoever he was got away.
Take him on over to the coroner's office.
Come on, give me a hand.
And you're a fine Southern boy. Why would you shield these hoodlums at the cost of your life?
He's afraid they'll kill me.
They killed a man right outside this jail.
Marshal Earp will give you both police protection. But unless you make a signed statement admitting former membership in the Whitecaps and naming your associates, I can do nothing for you.
Alice and I can't hide behind Marshal Earp forever. The way it has to be, she'll live.
I don't want to live.
Boys never really rung the town out. No luck at all. You gone into the harness maker's trade?
Yeah, I've been working at this most of the night. You're just about Mr. Royal size. Come on over here and try this on.
What's the idea?
Well, I got this trick from Tom Iron. He's an old-time circus strongman. Used to let them hang him in front of an audience to prove how strong his neck muscles were. Now, he wore this harness to take up the shock. Now, the rope around his neck looked like it was rigged to be tight, but it really wasn't. Feel this hook in the back?
Well, fake hanging, huh?
That's right.
Well, great. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to go through with that other thing.
Well, we want this hanging to look good, but not too good. We want the Whitecaps, whoever they are, to be suspicious, and this will help smoke them out.
If Royal and the girl do their part.
I'm not worried about them doing their part. Worried about the judges.
Well, Judge Smith's over at Buckland. Judge Tobin will take your word.
That's the trouble.
Huh?
Well, if Judge Tobin asked me any questions point blank, I couldn't lie to him.
Well, I will.
Oh, no. No lying. Just have to hope that the Whitecaps move fast. Now, come on, take that off.
This is your last chance, Mr. Royal. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, sir.
You still deny you had anything to do with the Whitecaps and you refuse to name them, huh?
Let's get it over with.
Sheriff Masterson? Carry over the office. That's good.
You and your men stake out over there someplace. I'm going to go on back to the office and see what's happening.
You know, Judge Smith was in the crowd. Why'd he come all the way from Buckland?
Well, Pete Albright was in the crowd, too. There are a lot of buzzards hanging around. You keep an eye on that.
Why doesn't he just let us make a run for it? Once we're back at the ranch, Pop and the boys will take care of things.
No, Mr. Earp's handling it right.
But how long will you have to hide out down here?
Not too long, he says. Now, calm down, honey. We're alive.
Why don't you tell him who the Whitecap leaders are?
Telling wouldn't do a lick of good. Mr. Earp has to prove it. We have to trust him, Alice. It's our only chance.
Oh, Judge Tobin.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Albright.
Say, there's been a lot of ugly talk around town. I thought you ought to know about it.
Talk?
Yeah, they're saying that Earp and Masterson didn't really hang that fellow.
What?
Yeah, the talk is they faked it somehow. I'm not saying I believe it.
Nonsense. The man's buried.
Well, a lot of folks aren't satisfied. They wouldn't let anyone view the remains up close. They hustled the body into the coffin and sealed it. Masterson's deputies.
Are you making a formal charge?
Not me.
But Judge Smith is fixing to, I hear.
Oh, Judge Smith of Buckland's in town?
Well, over at the Texas house. Maybe you ought to have a little talk with him.
No. It's a lot of foolishness. I'll clear this up with Marshal Earp.
Well, he...
Silly gossip. And I advise you not to repeat it. And in all my time on the bench, I never heard such a story, Wyatt. You and Masterson are in contempt of court. You're guilty of malfeasance in office. You asked me for a stay of execution. And when I properly refused, you defied me. Now, where's the prisoner?
I'm sorry, sir.
You sneaked him away. And you refused...
Sir, all I need is a little time. An hour, maybe 3.
Preposterous. I ought to suspend you from office. Arrest you.
Judge Tobin, do you know anything about the Whitecaps?
Of course I know the Whitecaps. They're an illegal crowd of thugs and murderers, but the point is...
No, sir, the point is you can't get evidence on the Whitecaps by ordinary police work. Sir, they hide behind masks. If the member quits them like Mr. Royal did, they either try to ambush him or frame him into a hanging. If Callahan tries to tell on him, they shoot him down right in front of this jail. No, sir, you gotta try and smoke him out of hide and catch him red-handed.
And you think you can?
Yes, sir. Just give me until midnight. Look, if Mr. Masterson and I don't have any evidence by then, I'll surrender Mr. Royal and you can fire us and all our deputies. Sir, there are peace officers and judges all over this country that are risking their lives trying to get rid of the Whitecaps. Now, all I'm asking you to do is to risk a few hours.
Well...
Saw him before. How about him?
No, he's a stranger to me.
Just a couple of nobodies. Come on, we'll take him to Wyatt. Maybe they'll talk.
What's all this?
They started to open the grave and we jumped him. We're wearing these masks.
9 minutes to 12. That's cutting it pretty fine. I don't suppose they'll talk.
No, sir.
Then let them rest in jail a while. I'll continue the stay of execution.
Thank you, sir.
Judge Smith may object, so I'll have to wire Chief Justice Morgan. But no more illegal procedures. This will give you time to crack the case.
Right, sir.
Brick, put them on bread and water. Maybe they will talk. Well, Miss Alice went back to the hotel.
Hey, now, you're not going to turn Dal loose. He's still a prisoner, and we promised the judge...
You promised. I didn't say a word.
Now, look, Marshal.
You're in the clear. Whatever happens next, the judge can hang me. And you go bring Mr. Royal up from the cellar. I want to have a little talk with him.
All right. Now, this is the shortest trail between Dodge and the Hendricks Ranch. Now, as soon as the Whitecaps find out that we're moving you out, they'll guess that we're heading towards the home of your future father-in-law.
Maybe. Maybe they'll set a nice little ambush, too.
Well, that's our one hope, Mr. Royal.
Hope? You take a prisoner out of jail, let the Whitecaps know we didn't hang him, and then ride into an ambush.
Well, Sheriff Masterson trails the bushwhackers with his deputies. It's up to you, Mr. Royal. I can't ask you to...
I don't know. I don't like it. Something might go wrong with the timing, and then they'd have both of you in a box.
No, he's right, Sheriff.
You tired of living?
I ain't living this way. Either they hang me for sure or turn me loose for a Whitecap party later on. Let me go by myself, Mr. Earp. You ride with Bat and the deputies.
No, then they'd suspect a trap. Anyway, Mr. Masterson promised Judge Tobin to be strictly legal.
What you want to do is legal?
Sure it is. I'm not turning him loose. He'll still be in my custody. Now, just you and the boys, be careful how you shoot. I want to take that gang alive. Jigger. Jigger, come on in here.
Now, I want you to do me a little favor.
I thought he...
He's not a ghost, Jigger. You see, we had to fake the hanging. He's still got an awful lot of enemies, so we're taking him to old man Hendrix's ranch. Now, we're leaving tomorrow morning at sunup, and I'd like for you to pass the word.
Yes, sir. I sure tell him.
Are we gonna wait till they jump Wyatt?
No, Wyatt's too tender-hearted about killing. Come on, let's get out. All right, hold it. Drop him.
No.
Well, Wyatt, they're dead.
Did you have to kill him?
I couldn't see any other way. Judge Smith, Pete Albright. I don't like hanging people. Better to drop them in an open fight. Anyway, they fired at me first.
You made it too easy. You could have got him for you. All right. Let's load them on the horses. Couple of you men get off there and help.
Dal! Oh, Dal!
Your Honor, Sheriff Masterson and his deputies had a little fight with the Whitecaps. Unfortunately, 2 of them were killed, but, well, I think the rest of them will turn state's evidence and clear Mr. Royal.
Well done, Sheriff. And where were you while all this was going on?
Well, I tell you, sir, I took Mr. Royal out for some fresh air. You see, sir, I felt it was absolutely necessary to keep up his vigor and strength.
You were very thoughtful, Mr. Herb, as always.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, come on, let's get these prisoners into jail.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Not working, Wyatt. Give it a chance, Sam. Here comes somebody.
It's him. And he's wearing his gun.
Yeah. Just as we figured. You leaving town, Mr. Watts? No. Then you're under arrest for wearing a gun on the street. I got good reason for... Tell the judge. You've been after me ever since I... That's right. Are you gonna unbuckle that gun or are you gonna use it? You get a choice.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
name Henry Brown?
That's right.
Take a look at this. There's a $1,000 reward for Harry Hogan.
You've got the wrong man.
No, we haven't. Go with him while he saddles his horse.
Please. That poster's over 5 years old.
We've carried it almost that long.
Look, I'll admit it. I am Harry Hogan. I was part of a gang for a few years. Then I quit. Since then, I've been a homesteader, right here, trying to live right.
You can tell all that to the judge in Kansas City.
Wait, Henry. Are you lawmen, deputies, or marshals, or something like that?
We don't carry badges, but we represent the law just the same.
Henry, they're bounty hunters. They do this just to collect a reward.
Come on, Hogan. We wasted enough time.
I'll get my horse.
You recognize him, Marshal?
No, I can't say that I do.
Went by the name of Henry Brown. Used to homestead right near here.
What do you mean he used to?
He don't anymore. He's outside, tied over his horse's back. Tried to get away, Marshal, so we had to, shoot him.
Who are you?
My name's Bill Watts, and this here's Dave Ritchie.
You're not lawmen?
No, just a couple of law-abiding citizens, Marshal. Now, if you don't mind, we'd like to turn the body of this criminal over to you.
Just how much does the reward happen to be?
$1,000.
Bounty hunters, huh? You search for scalp money.
Well, now, Marshal, that ain't the way we describe it.
Now, you two are the lowest breed in the West. If I see you again, I'll shoot you on sight.
No, you won't, Marshal. What we done is perfectly legal, and you know it. We're turning the body over to you for confirmation, and we'll wait here at the hotel until the reward arrives. There's Marshal Earp sending our telegram for us. I don't think he likes us none. None of them do. You know, if half of what's been said about the people of Dodge City is true, we should be able to do a lot of hiding out from the law here. I don't know. Things have changed since this Earp took over. Oh, he's bound to have missed a few reward posters. He didn't remember Hogan. He's leaving. Morning, Marshal. You want to search us?
Your blood money will be here in a couple of days. When it gets here, I'll give you 1 hour to get out of town.
Now, that's not legal, Marshal. We're not breaking any laws. We're upholding them. We'll leave when we're ready.
Now, I'll tell you. You may change your mind.
Gather in just a little closer, fellas, and listen to this. Buzzards come to roost in Dodge. 2 members of one of the most despicable and dishonorable professions in the West, bounty hunting. At this very moment in Dodge City.
Buzzards come to roost in Dodge. Did you write that editorial?
Yes, I did.
What are you trying to do, Sam? Stir up more trouble than I already have?
Well, I wasn't aware until now, Wyatt, that you allowed this kind of thing to go on in Dodge.
Do you realize what this is liable to stir up?
I certainly do. A little public indignation.
Look, Sam, it's liable to start a lynch party. But I'd have to protect those two vultures, and that's the last thing in the world that I want to have to do.
Well, White, to be quite honest with you, I never quite thought of it like that before.
I'll take it easy from now on, will you?
Isn't there something you can do about those two?
No, not legally. They don't scare easy, and they're all hands at this kind of business. Their being here is the worst thing that ever happened in Dodge.
You make it sound pretty bad.
There's no telling how many lives they'll ruin. That's what bothers me.
Why? You mean you know of wanted men that are living here now in Dodge?
Men like that all over the West. Men who get mixed up early in life. They've regretted it ever since. Changed their names and become decent people.
Then these two buzzards come along and wreck their lives altogether. Maybe kill them.
No, they're not going to kill anybody here. The minute that either one of them wears a gun, he's my meat.
But why are we stopping?
Ellie, I don't think you should travel anymore today. We'll get a hotel room here in town and use a different name.
But we've made up our minds not to stop till we got out of Kansas.
Now, look,
Now,
Ellie.
let's keep on.
You and the baby are more important.
I feel fine, dear. Now, let's see if they'll sell us another horse.
I told you the livery stable's always a good place. Where's the posters?
In the drawer?
Take a look at him. He's down there buying a horse. I've seen that face before. Oh, he's in Kansas. No, that's not him. He's in Kansas. No. He's one of the Youngers. Wanted for questioning concerning an Abilene robbery. For information leading to this man, $150.
Not a bad day's work. Think Marshal Earp will be glad to see us again?
Leave it alone. Earp sees you with that on the street, he'll shoot first and ask questions later. We don't need guns for this kid anyway.
Hurry, Larry.
Fast as I can.
I beg your pardon? You have a match?
No, sorry. You're not going anyplace, Younger.
No! Stop!
Get out of here. All right, Marshal. But don't forget, that's another $150 we got coming.
I said get out.
Go on!
Are you all right, man?
I'll be all right.
Been just too much for her, Marshal.
Mrs. Younger, I'll try and get you a room as soon as possible. Mr. Younger, I'm going to have to lock you up. Well, he's wanted for questioning, ma'am, according to this poster. I don't like it any better than you do.
I had nothing to do with the robbery, Marshal. The name is Younger. You can see what that means.
He's never done anything with his brothers at all.
We figured by spring the baby'd be here. But my brothers robbed a place in Abilene. Somebody recognized one of them, and I heard they wanted to question me.
Well, you shouldn't have run away.
I've had enough, Marshal. Every time they commit a robbery, they question me.
Well, the worst that can happen is that you go on back home and answer their questions, then come back here and start west again.
What about Allie? You see, I just don't have enough money to take care of her while I'm gone.
Well, don't worry about that. I'll see that she's taken care of.
Oh, thank you,
I don't know how we
Marshal.
can thank you, Marshal.
Now, forget it. Now, you go on in there and find yourself a comfortable cell. I'll take you on over and get you a hotel room.
Have a good rest, Allie. Don't worry. Thank you, Marshal.
Oh, excuse me.
It's all right. You know, some people have nothing else better to do than just print up these posters. It may work.
What?
Nothing.
Well, how's this for a closing line, White? Such men are a scourge to the West, a shame on the human race, and should be run out of town.
That should do it.
Suppose this incites the people to violence like you were afraid yesterday's editorial might.
I'm just going to have to take that chance, Sam. Anyway, if I know those two, the minute they're threatened, they're going to come looking for protection.
We got our names in the paper again.
That's pretty strong. Sam Rolfe.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Anybody who hates us as much as this Rolfe does should have a past worth looking into.
Let's go look them over.
Well, here they come. I'll be in the back.
We'd like to talk to Sam Rolfe.
Well, what do you want to see him about?
Never mind unless you're him.
No, I'm not. He's out of the office for a little while. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll finish what I'm doing.
Who's in charge while he's gone?
Well, I guess I am.
And what might your name be?
Smith. John Smith.
Then tell me, Mr. Smith, how much do you know about this Rolfe?
Well, not too much, I guess. He's been here quite a while, though.
How long?
Oh, about 5 years, I guess.
You sure of that?
What are you asking all these questions about Mr. Rolfe for?
Don't you know Mr. Smith?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
All right. You tell Mr. Rolfe we'll be back.
All right, I'll tell him. Who should I say was asking after him?
I think you know who we are.
Yes. I guess I do.
Well, that was quite a performance, Mr. Smith. That eye shade does a lot for you, too.
I got a pretty good likeness of both of them, Wyatt.
I'll say they are. Very good.
Well, they suspect me of being wanted.
We'll keep an eye on you, too. Well, we can give Bill Watts another name, Joseph Watson. How's that? Richie, we can make into a horse thief. Put a price on his head.
That's fine. But, how are you going to see...
How am I going to get the wrong poster to the right man?
Yeah?
Well, Sam, that's the next step. Now, this is what I had in mind.
Marshal's office looted. Important documents stolen. While Marshal Earp and his deputies were patrolling Front Street last night, some foolhardy thief rifled files and took some valuable papers. Marshal Earp refuses to disclose the nature of the missing papers or to discuss their value. The Marshal's face is red both with embarrassment and anger.
You don't think our good friend Sam Rolfe stole the documents, do you?
Maybe Earp's trying to frame us, accuse us of robbing his office.
I don't know. Earp's no fool. I think we should go and have a talk with Rolfe. Try and find out something.
We buy a couple of copies of today's Globe, Mr. Rolfe.
Sure, just help yourselves.
I see where the marshal's office was robbed last night. Know any of the details?
Oh, only what you read in the paper. It's all right there on the front page. Well, I'm having dinner with Marshal Earp. If you could come back later, I might have some news that would be of interest to all of us. Look across the street. He's watching us now. Couldn't you come back later and maybe we could meet somewhere?
All right. Come back alone. What kind of a trick is this?
You didn't show the note to your partner, did you?
Not yet, I haven't. Well? Where did you get this?
I thought you'd like to see that.
Did you get the one of yourself along with it?
Well, I figured this would cancel out anything you think you might have on me.
What's going on? What do you mean? I saw you coming out of the Globe office. Then I followed you to the telegraph office. You trying to cross me?
Why don't you relax? Keeping tabs on Rolf. Every time Earp sees us together, he thinks we're after Rolf. Have to be more careful, that's all.
What do you mean, more careful?
We'll have to work alone. Earp can't be in two places at the same time.
What were you doing at the telegraph office?
I sent a telegram to Kansas City to get a line on Rolf.
You cross me and you know what'll happen, don't you?
Howdy, Sam. You sent for me? Yes, Wyatt. I wanted to show you this. It's a copy of the wire that Richie sent to Kansas City. Old Hank brought it over to me.
Request information on Joseph Watson, wanted for stagecoach robbery. Your city several years ago. Wire answer, collect D. Ritchie, Dodge City, Kansas. Well, it worked, huh?
Yeah. Looks like the pot's beginning to simmer.
You mean it's beginning to boil? Here comes the other one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Watts. What can I do for you?
Richie and I thought maybe you'd be ready to make a deal on those posters you swiped from the marshal's office.
You're running a bluff, Mr. Watts, and you know it. You won't find any poster with my picture on it. Your partner was in here trying to run the same bluff on me. You know, you two aren't the brightest I've ever seen, but then you're not holding the cards that I am. You see, I found a poster with a picture on it that I think you'd find mighty interesting. Wanted for horse thievery, Daniel Goodrich, alias Robert Richards.
Who else knows about this?
Just myself.
Not even Marshal Earp?
No.
So it was you who stole the posters out of Earp's office?
Well, when a man's in a spot, Mr. Watts, he has to protect himself all the way around. Besides, who'd believe you?
All right. You mind your business and I'll mind mine.
just about the same telegram your friend sent. He sent it to the same fella. Only he was checking on a fella named Watson or some such name about a stagecoach robbery.
You get that through just as quick as you can.
Fellas must be mighty important lawmen.
Hank tipped Richie off. Now Richie's looking for you to protect him.
And Mr. Watts is looking for Mr. Ritchie to kill him.
Everything's working out just fine. It's Watts. And he's wearing his gun.
Yeah. Just as we figured. You leaving town, Mr. Watts?
No.
Then you're under arrest.
For what?
For carrying a gun in the street.
You've been after me ever since?
That's right. Are you going to hand over that gun? Or are you going to use it?
Oh, Marshal. Marshal, look, I've been looking all over. You get away, Wyatt?
Yeah, I hope so. Far away. Now, I can put you in jail for 30 days for carrying this gun. 60 days for resisting arrest and 30 more for disturbing the peace, but I'm going to suspend that and let you go.
Why?
Because I don't want you around. But I'll tell you something, Mr. Watts. If I ever see your face in Dodge City again, I'm going to lock you up for a long time.
Well, what about my reward money? For Hogan's body and for Younger?
Well, you can be fined, too, you know. And I'd recommend to the judge that it'd be about $1,150, and I think he'd listen to me. And one more thing. When you see your friend, Mr. Ritchie, tell him the same goes for him, too.
I won't be seeing him.
Well, you might. If you take the Deadwood Road. I hear he went that way.
Did, huh?
You think they'll figure it all out, Wyatt, before they shoot each other?
I don't know, Sam. Your guess is as good as anybody's. At least we get rid of it.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
আপনি কিন্তু দেখতে যথেষ্ট সুন্দরী একজন মানুষ, দেখতে বেশ রোমান্টিক, যেন শেক্সপিয়ারের নাটকের কোনো নায়িকার মতো। ভেবেছিলাম, কিন্তু আপনি তো পুরোটাই মর্মান্তিক। যে কোনো মানুষ আপনাকে দেখে মর্মাহত হতে পারে।
আমার হালকা হতে 1 মাস সময় লেগেছে।
আপনার 1 মাস সময় লাগে? আমার হালকা হতে তো 1 মিনিট লাগে।
আমার কাছে মনে হয় জীবনসঙ্গী এমন হওয়া উচিত যার সাথে আপনি প্রতিটা মুহূর্ত উপভোগ করতে পারবেন, সারাক্ষণ খুনসুটিতে মেতে থাকতে পারবেন এবং তার মনে এমনভাবে বসবাস করবেন যে আপনার দিকে সে একটাবার তাকালেই বলে দিতে পারবে যে তার বেঁচে থাকার কারণই আপনি।
পথে চলতে চলতে কথা বলতে বলতে কখন যেন হলে আমার
জানি গল্পে গল্পে মিশে অল্পে অল্পে আমিও হয়ে গেছি তোমার।
ছোট ছোট ভুল ফুটে হলো ফুল যে তোমাকে পেলাম,
গুটি গুটি পায়ে স্বপ্নের নাই আমি ভেসে গেলাম।
আপনি কি মনে করেছেন একজন মানুষ আমার জীবন থেকে চলে গিয়েছে এবং আপনি সেই সুযোগটা কাজে লাগিয়ে আপনার ফিলিংস গুলো আমার কাছে এক্সপ্রেস করবেন আর আমি সেটা হ্যাপিলি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নিব? এই হচ্ছে আপনার বন্ধুত্বের নমুনা?
রোদের পাখি তোর শহরে আমার মনের স্বপ্ন ঘিরে, ওরে পাখি ওরে সারাক্ষণ তোর শহরে বৃষ্টি হলে ভিজে আমার মন।
Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không mày chuẩn? Mày chuẩn. 10 lap. Mắc chưa vậy? Ê, từ phong tỏa. Vị trí định. Perfect. One guy, perfect landing. Xoay đều, xoay đều. Xoay đều, xoay đều, xoay đều. Mày, tí cắm lồng đất. À, còn nữa không? Cắm lồng đất. Cái này đi vào đấy cả cắm lồng đất rồi. Cái cũng được. Có 2 để kiếm đi bớt. Wow. Wow. Hết đồ à? Mạnh quá hết đồ. Chuẩn chỉ không? Cho thread này. What the hell? Tụi lối thầy. À, tụi uống được. Lối này. Hai mươi lăm củ à? Đây 10 lần là 200 củ ấy. Này 104 lap, 51 lap. 55 à? Như bay quý nhà thầy mà. Nhanh điết. Vừa nhanh. Các bạn là gấp tiếp theo ngay lập tức. Thần dừng không? Ôi, xin lỗi kêu cửa.
ভালোবাসা সুন্দর, ভালোবাসাও সুন্দর।
মানুষ নিজের অজান্তেই ভালোবেসে ফেলে।
আমারও মনে হয় কি জানেন, আপনার মতো জানাশোনা কাউকে না আমার বিয়ে করা উচিত।
এটা কি উপলক্ষে?
ম্যাডাম ফুলটা গ্রহণ করুন, তারপরে বলতেছি।
ভোটার আইডি কার্ডে যার স্বাক্ষরের জায়গায় টিপসই দেয়, এখানে কেউ ডাক্তার।
এই দুইজনের মধ্যে যে আগে ম্যাডামের মন জয় করতে পারবে, ম্যাডাম তার।
একদিন না দেখলে তোমায় বন্ধু আন্ধার লাগে সব, তোমার এই প্রেমে এমনই টান।
রুগীদের তো ডক্টরের কাছে আসলে ব্যথা কমে যায়, আপনি তো উল্টো বলবেন। আপনি কি উল্টা?
তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, যেও না বন্ধু আমার ভুলিয়া ভুলিয়া।
আমার মনে হয় আমার সমস্যা কপালে। ম্যাডাম আমার কপালে নেই, আমার কপালে আছে দাগ।
Qua đường luôn bớt. Anh thì mất 1 tỷ lần nè. Nếu 1 tỷ lần càng mạnh. 15 lần. Khiếp, thằng này mất 1.500 lần. What the hell man. Ủa nó vậy. Broccoli. 1.500 lần thật sự là ổn. Giờ mình là one 3, mình không quan tâm thằng Cana làm gì cả. Ok thầy rồi. I see you again. Để lắp đồ cho ấy á, cho lấy đồ cho Asia. Bên chia lên. Bên chia linh binh à, vẫn đập đồng đấy chứ. Anh đã chỉnh như thế rồi. 6 7 8 9 34 35 36 7 38 9 2 5 36 7 9 180 vòng à. 10 này, 7 này, 2 lần perfect này. Đúng. 3 lần hết liên tục. Ai à, trung tâm. Thua lại. Ê, tao gặp lại thằng này Dương ơi. Thằng này tao thua ở trận trước này. Thua thằng này trận trước này, sao tao đái vào thì lúc đánh xong trận sao ấy. Thế tao vào trận luôn, thế tao vào trận luôn. Đó, cả thằng này nữa này. Thằng này cũng ở trận trước này. Hai thằng trong 1 trong 2 trận trước. Nó để ý tên đấy, mình nhớ là đi. Gặp lại à. Vẫy tay xin chào. Hiện vật sau. Thua nhau. Nó ngập không muốn rời. Được sao? Ô giờ mình còn chưa ở đây Ari, nếu mà nhặt Ari vậy, chú đúng không? Ari không? Ngàn ở phía trước cho trong ai phải không? Nhưng rồi không sao qua bởi tay xin chào. Mày đi đâu chôn à? Mình 8 ấy. Mình 8 zone quan tiếp. Từ xong rồi ơi giờ. Làm chơi đánh cũng mày. Sợ đấy. Nếu đánh cây salon dương thì thua đấy.
তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে। তুমি যদি দিতে না পারো তোমার বাবাকে কল দাও। তোমার যত জমি জিরাত বাড়িতে যা যা আছে এগুলো বেচা হইলেও তোমরা আমাদের টাকা পাই পাই করে শোধ করবা।
একটা ব্যাপার কি খেয়াল করছো, শহরে কিন্তু দুইটা রূপ, রাতের এক রূপ, দিনের আর এক।
বেঁধেছি ঘর হৃদয়ের পর গাঢ় সবুজ ওই গহীন বনে।
আরে ব্রো, সবসময় চিল থাকতে হবে, কিচ্ছু মাথায় নেওয়া যাবে না।
ভালোবাসা হচ্ছে একজন আরেকজনের উপর ভরসা করে, একজন আরেকজনের হাতের উপর হাত রেখে এই জীবনটা কাটিয়ে দেয়। কিছু মানুষ এই রাত জেগে থাকে আর টাকার বিনিময়ে সুখ খুঁজে।
বসুন।
এখন তো সিরিয়াস হওয়া উচিত, তাই না? আমি তো কোথাও যাচ্ছি না পার্টি করতে, তুমি কেন যাচ্ছ? কেন বন্ধ করতে পারতেছো না বলো তো? কার যে কোথায় সুখ সেটা তার প্রিয় মানুষটাও কখনো জানতে পারে।
পাশাপাশি তবু যাচ্ছি বিপরীতে, কাছাকাছি তবু যাচ্ছি বহু দূরে।
হাই, ইউ লুক গুড।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Hai trăm láp Nguyên Perfect Island giống em chợ sự nhà cái chứ cho ngay có tài không 210 láp 42 tỷ 2 triệu một lần có chờ nhầm ôi không còn 100 để bớt 6 15 cái lại sửa bên chỉ linh ấy bay mình chỉ linh điên chương 8 này làm chi một cây đai máu nữa sử dụng làm cái giáp máu à đây hả một bên anh không muốn như em nghĩ phải đấy nhưng mà xếp sai bên khác xếp bên là thắng cái chuyện mua 2 bạn nữa chỉ cái này 33 triệu start rồi tiền cả ấy chứ ngon vừa lên 8 mất và 8 điểm gì có ra xét này không muốn đâu cái này chọn hơn đấy ra sinh ra rồi con này tôi xếp tiền lên 30 tiền nữa nhanh không cái là xong giao chim rồi đủ tiền còn cái thằng nhảy đá gì đó quên sao được nó lại quay nhiều lên ngoài mắt ngoài thầm trong mắt rồi có biết không anh em tôi để đứng đi sao mà lắm mắt người ta sao về xuống rồi lắp con sinh ra và xong là 57 mình sinh viên cái ghét cả nào còn bà sinh viên cũng xanh rồi quỷ à rất thua thằng chị ai cái đánh hay đấy
দরকার পড়লে একটা রিকশাওয়ালাকে বিয়ে করবো তারপর তোকে বিয়ে করতে
তুমি যদি মরো আমি তোমাকেই বিয়ে করব
দেখো দেখো বিয়ে এত সোজা
আমার 5টা কন্ডিশন
কয়টা
5টা
আমি সিআইডি সাফায়েত রমরাজন স্যার এটা তো ভোটার আইডি কার্ড স্যার
বাড়িতেই করবেন নাকি হোটেলে?
না না, আপনি যেমনটা ভাবছেন বিষয়টা তা না।
ভাই আপনি তো করবেন।
তোমাকে দিয়ে হবে না, আমি জানতাম। শুধু শুধু সময় নষ্ট করো না।
ভাই আপনি তো অনন্ত জলিল না যে অসম্ভবকে সম্ভব করে আপনার কাজ। জিমি জিমি জিমি
কি হচ্ছে?
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
আঙ্গের একদম বইরা দিমু যাচ্ছে সব বাইট কর।
শর্ত দিয়ে বিয়ে, শর্ত দিয়ে বিয়ে।
ভাই যে বয়সে মানুষ গার্লফ্রেন্ডের কামড় খায়, সে বয়সে আপনি কুত্তার কামড় খেয়ে হাসপাতালে ভর্তি হয়েছেন।
Cái đấy một cái phòng penthouse, tòa tầng cao nhất. Penthouse như cái đá này. Broccoli. Ui, thế mày không gọi tao? Ông marketing à, không marketing. Trần không? Trần không? Mày bác Trần không? Gì broccoli. Sắp xưa rồi.
là có mỗi cặp thần tài xong hết.
Phải thần tài. Thần tài vì không đánh à? Hả? Bài nữa vậy? Tao chưa có nói 1 lấy 3 rồi. Vừa vào game nó bị đá mà. Hiểu thật đâu. Em hiểu khẳng đờm vào. Tuấn nói luôn khẳng đờm phát lưỡng. Cả ngày bãi đờm còn vào ra vào câu chuyện của anh Tuấn. Bài cầu không lấy à? Gì mồm có gì trắng trắng là bạch hầu đấy. Broccoli. Nó quá thiên thần tài không? Đúng có ấn thần tài. Cái đấy là vàng không phải thần tài. Đấy luôn. 5 cái quan 5 tiền nào. Vừa không check được Trần Cao Cường từ đâu. Vừa check được. Vừa lấy lúc Trần nói check thì đéo được. Đấy từ đầu tao không check. Bây giờ vừa Trần nói đéo check được. Carry. Đâu thần tài tao đâu. Ủa. Làm sao block lui. Vai thuật vua. Ui, bị đá nó xịn anh cứt. Dương ơi.
Tên giả lắm Vương Quý Nhân.
Bắt tiêu, chuồn búa à? Quý nếu chịu được thì gót à?
Đây một gót tiếp đi.
Chuồn mà. Chuồn búa à?
Nói cái này chịu rồi.
Hả? Đi tập gym. Đi tập gym sao? Đi tập gym. Đi tập gym. Nè. Có tập tay sau không sao? Tập sau không đau đâu. Lúc ấy vào mà nhưng mà không đau. Ôi trời ơi, chọn nhầm rồi. Ai? Một quay cắm mà. Ba lần à, ba lần à, đúng không? 30 giây. Ba mươi tiếng à? Để chơi nữa, bài nhất quyết chơi. Nếu mà có một con thần tài nào chứ, chôn búa à. Chán quá. Quỷ nhỉ. Rồi không phải. À à à. Đi đâu? Có gì mới đâu. Có giáo chơi ngoài. Cái này à? Sáng không, sáng nay đây, sáng nay tao vào lúc mà chưa ai vào Discord ấy. Đi ra đi Nguyễn ngồi một mình trong Discord. Gì? Mà mình trong Discord mà. Nó quỷ mà. Cái lúc đấy có khi chưa ngủ ấy. Anh nói thật, cái lúc đấy, cái lúc anh vào lúc sáng ấy có khi chưa ngủ. Không mà số 5 mà. Mày đi. Dân tộc à? Một là về khó khăn. Bố à? Ê, chúng ta phải phóng vào cái chỗ mà có phải cái chỗ mà ga tàu kiểu chỗ ngay ga tàu ở trung tâm thằng bạn anh ở đấy mà, thằng anh cũng ở đấy. Nhà nó ở ngay đối nhà không, thằng ở Hải Phòng. Nhà nó ở ngay ga tàu luôn, nó vừa bước xuống ga phát là nhà. Đỗ Ngọc Anh. Thằng Áo, thằng Doanh khác, thằng Doanh ở Hưng Yên mà, Đấy ở Hưng Yên mà broccoli. Thế kêu sinh luôn à? Chuẩn không? Ôi ôi không mà Bùi Hồng Quang cao lên cầu thủ 20 sao. Bạn là con gái à? Xinh lắm để làm chi à Tuấn? Xinh lắm để làm chi? Này ông mày có thế gì tao biết từ à? Bố không trò thôi à? Ơi, không muốn nhắc lại à? Em biết gì? Gớm.